Okay, wait for everybody to come in. I should back out. Maybe I should back out now. I think that shows pretty much what we're going to do. A little bit of everything. Alrighty. And post it. Hi, Mitz. Good morning. How you doing? Happy hump day. Hi, Raquel. Good morning. I don't have a place to put my hand. I laid all this out to take a thumbnail. there's no place to rest my hand while I'm waiting for everybody to get here. So I picked a bunch of different things to color, and we're going to color with all different things. Does that sound kind of fun? Plus, we got to do our Society of Idea Collector weekly idea. Hi, Dee, Mama 4, Jane Hall. Jane Hall of Crackline. I don't know if I've followed you, Jane. I'll have to go find you later. Good morning, Julie Topaz. Happy wonderful Wednesday. Ready for some coloring action. Hi, Riri. Good morning, Pacola. Good to have you back. We miss you, Pacola. So, hi, Faithful Mess. It's about time, girl. Where you been? Well, I know you said your air went out. Did you get your air fixed and get everything moved back around? Did you get everything moved back around in your house back to normal, or are you still in limbo? Hi, Trisha. Good to see you. And I said hi to Mids. And I said hi to Riri. And let's see, who else am I missing? Pamela, Diane, Darlene, Sylvie. So good morning, everybody. Does it look bright enough? Do I need to brighten it up, or does it look, maybe it's just because there's so much going on. The camera doesn't know what to focus on. Hi, B. Let me turn my fan a little because I can hear myself going from the fan. Yes and no. So limbo. Okay. Well, it's good to see you, Faithful Mess. Good to see you. Let's see. I said hi to Sylvie. So I picked a bunch of pages out of the Coleridge Wild books by Emmanuel Collin. And I have the 1, the 2, and the 3. Miss Melody sent me these some time ago. And we use them off and on. They're good to do little projects and little tests with different things. So, yeah, we're going to work in these. I picked 7 because I picked 7 different things, 7 different mediums to use. Hi, Debbie. Maseki. Jilly's Color. Good morning. I don't know if I follow you either. I try to go back after the show when I scrub through the chat and see if there's any new people I missed. And I go see, if you have channels and try to follow people back. So thanks for being here. So the supplies that I picked out are pencils, gouache, watercolor markers, alcohol markers, pan pastels, acrylic paint, and watercolors. But now I will explain that when I use any of these other supplies, pretty much all of them, when I use any of these supplies, I also include color pencils. So if I use pan pastels, there's going to be color pencils. Watercolor, they'll be used with pencils. So I do use things with pencils. Let's see. Let's say hi, Trisha, Jerry, Dawn. Yes, Faithful Mess, pan pastels. Well, they're not locked out, but I'm keeping an eye on them over here. They jump up on this side, so I can most of the time sense when they're behind me. So if they come in, I'll be, and I'm going to shuffle this around to work. I have to have a place to work, obviously. So, but I will keep an eye on them. I will keep an eye on them. You haven't used your pan pastels, Trisha? Well, you just been too busy? I know it's hard when you're working full time. Let's see. Kalora, happy hump day. Whoops, I'm trying. I'm trying to click on people. There's Mama Four, Kalora, Becky. And I said hi to Maseki, Julie. Let's see who else. Am I missing? I'm probably missing people coming in. So thanks everybody. Oh, you are a different name? Did you just change the name but have the same channel, Julie? I'll have to go look later. I do, like I said, I do try to go find y'all and follow you. And I can't guarantee I'm going to watch every video because there's just too many, but I do try to stop by every now and then. And, oh, well, girl, that's not good. You can't be afraid to mess up. I told y'all what you do with pan pastels or any supply. If it's new to you, you haven't used it and you want to, just these aren't copies, but you could make a copy of whatever it is you want to work on and practice on a copy before you work on an actual page. Now, you know that, Trisha. You know that. Oh, okay, Jilly. I'm mostly not on Facebook. I am mostly not on Facebook. I'm on Instagram and YouTube pretty much. Kind of over the social media situation. So I follow art people on Instagram and that's pretty much what I do on my YouTube channel too. So, hi Stephanie, good morning. Let's see. Yes, thank you, Pacola. Please use all caps when talking to me so I'll be able to see you. I won't think you're yelling at me. So if you're talking to me, put it in all caps, especially when I get started working on stuff, because I'm glancing over at chat then and I'm looking for caps. I mean, I try to catch other parts of conversations, but I obviously have to look over here. Let's see. I know I've got to start. Yeah, you do, Trisha. So let's see. Yeah, Instagram is where I pretty much let me get my voice going. I'll get my Instagram here. So if anybody wants to follow me over there, let me go to my home page. So it's Inky Well, INKIWELL, or Dee Dee Willingham. You can find me on either one, and my link to the YouTube channel is in my profile. You only can put one link in your profile, and so I put YouTube. But that's my Instagram. I just went over 1,000 posts over the weekend with Catterday. Here's my Catterday. There's my Catterday from last Saturday. So yeah, so follow me over on Instagram if you want. I follow back artists as long as you got some content, And if I know you, then I'll ask if you are on private. I'll ask to join. But most people, I don't follow them when they're private because I don't know what they got. So yeah. Hi, Tommy Joe. Good morning, Arlene. Good morning. I said hi to Riri, Tracy, Michaela. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning, Juanita. She spins Juanita. And there's Janet. She must have she didn't get her coffee till just now. So, Janet doesn't do anything till she gets that coffee. So she must have just got that coffee. And so good morning, Janet. Oh, let's see. I'm teasing. Let's see. Plays with glass. From Washington State. Welcome. Mary Lou. Mina. I know, Janet. I know. Let's just say hi, C&P, Cat and Paste. C&P. Cat and Paste has an awesome Instagram. Let me see I don't know what she's posted in the last couple of days. And, if I don't get to see everybody on Instagram either, if I, oh, Ashley Megan just popped up. That's so cute. I got to like that, Ashley. Look how cute that is. Good, Ashley. Okay, let me look up cat and paste here because, it just depends on who comes up in my feed. If I click on someone a lot, then they'll pop up. Um, but if I don't, then they don't. So, oh, she did. Let's see. Complete a page had some. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of houses. Did you draw? Oh, it's from Joanna Basford's Worlds of Wonder. And I know how tiny that book is. Look at that. Oh my gosh. C and P. That is a lot of work right there, girl. That's a lot of work. But yeah, she does have some good, some really nice color book pages and things. So go follow Cat and Paste. And so yeah, good to see ya. Let's see. Whoops, I always accidentally click that, and I have to delete things. I'm always saving screenshots because it's so easy to click when you're turning your phone off. You turn your phone off over here, but over here is if my thumb is right there and I turn off the phone at the same time, then it takes a screenshot. So I'm always deleting screenshots. Let's see. Uh, who else am I missing? There's Tori. Um, let's see. Adult coloring with Eileen with an I. Good morning, Eileen with an I. Leona. Let's see. Thanks, Julie. She's got that velvet rope. She's always welcoming. She's like the bouncer. You get in or out. Not really. Everybody's welcome as long as you're not a troll. I mean, seriously. We don't talk politics here. That's the one thing. Let's see. Hi, Darla. Let's see. So yeah, so it's good to see everybody. And as y'all can see, my name is Dee Dee, and I stream every Monday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. But I usually come on at 8:30. I say usually. I always come on at 8:30. Come on to say good morning and talk to everybody and say hi and remind everybody it's a chat show. There's a chat window. It's a live chat. There's no editing. Whatever happens here goes right up to YouTube. It renders right to YouTube. So it's a chat show. If you don't like seeing chat or we're taking too long for you to see a project and you're watching the recording, just use that little slider button. Use that little slider and just slide right on by. And remember, you don't have to tell me that I chat too much or talk too much. It's a chat show. Hi, Julie G. Okay. Oh, okay, good, Julie. Shh. Okay, okay, Julie. I know, right, Pacola? I love this. Melody Gingler sent it. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but I love this card. I keep it right here right under my monitor. It sits right here under my monitor. And then I also do have a weekly idea for you. So we'll try to get to that as well. Somebody will remind me, I'm sure. Oh, good, Julie. Shh. Okay, JG. Let's see, Erica Lynn, Patty O. So hope everybody's having a good week. Leo, say hi to Leona. Yes, it is fun to chat and color. Or we do a little everything here. I say that all the time. It's not a coloring channel because we don't just color. There's some months and a couple of years where we really did a whole lot of coloring, but we do other things too. I draw, we paint, we collage, we do mixed media, we do altered abandoned books. We do a little everything. I know, right, Becky? I'm getting a lot of use out of that card. I don't have too many people anymore. I mean, I might get one every couple of weeks or something. And it must be because I haven't watched over our 1,000 videos that we have here to know it's a chat show. So, and they're new. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt for at least one comment. Oh, let's see. Is on the thank you, Julie. Oh, I better not click on your name. I'm so teasing you today. I'm so teasing you. I did send out. I sent out a bunch of Happy Mail yesterday. I went to the post office and sent out some of the books. I sent out all the napkins. I sent out a whole bunch of Happy Mail yesterday, so I was glad to get that done. And hopefully, after in the fall, which is like a month and a half, get back to doing a monthly print. It's just going to depend on if I have to make any trips and things like that, because I don't like to be committed to doing prints and then not be able to be here to do them and send them out. So to thank you guys for the channel. So we'll get back to that soon. Good morning, Carla. Good to see you again live. Carla's one of our encouragers. So if you see her saying, give Dee Dee a thumbs up 5 times today, don't email Carla. Thanks, Leon. Let's see. I said hi to Patty O. Thanks, Harley. Thanks. We're good. I mean, we don't get too many. We don't get too many. And if I get a kind of a snarky comment, and now I'm not including Janet. If I get a comment that's, obviously they either haven't watched the show or haven't been around, I just tell them, there's at least a million other channels you can go watch if you don't like this one. I never leave comment. If I don't like a show or I don't like what they're talking about, what they're saying, what they're doing, I just leave. Just leave and go somewhere else. You don't. Yeah, that's. But anyway, every comment counts as a comment. So every thumbs up, thumbs down. We get our usual 6 thumbs down every show. So thanks to those 6 people that give me a thumbs down every week or every show, because it counts as a view. I just does it. It's so. Let's see, who else am I missing? All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started because it's almost 9, and I need to make it clear a space here. Let me turn my monitor a little bit toward this way so I can kind of just glance. So what I did is I pulled out, and I didn't pull out ink, like bottles of ink. I didn't pull out bottles of ink or sprays or gel pens or liner pins, tiny thin pins. I didn't pull those. But other than that, I think I pulled everything, one type of everything else. Well, yeah, just getting ready to say, Lydia, I don't usually use inks because I have so many markers. So I did not pull inks. So here is what I did pull. Pencils, which these are not the ones that I'm necessarily going to use. I just pulled it out to put a thumbnail and to show you guys what we're going to be using. So I'll pull out more pencils, obviously, but pencils. And that being said, I do use pencils in addition to all these when I'm doing a color book page. So when I'm doing a color book page with whatever any of these are, I'm also including pencils in that because like details, tiny shading, eyes, I always do that with pencil. And I just pulled 2 watercolor sets out. I don't know if we'll use just these or I might pull some more. We'll see. So watercolor. Move my phone. Water-based markers, which I just pulled these Crayola. They're the big super tips. They're the big ones. But, I do have the smaller ones. I didn't pull these because it's a big tray of them. And I didn't want to plop the tray over here. So if I need to, I'll go over here and get some super tips or any kind of water-based marker. So if you have these markers, the super tip Crayola super tip markers, or well, it doesn't even have to be super tip, but any kind of water-based markers, you have a watercolor set because all you have to do to use these as a watercolor, let's see if I have a piece of plastic over. Do I have a piece of plastic sitting over here? I try to keep one over here just for this purpose, but I'm not seeing one. Okay, let me see, a piece of plastic, because I'm not going to be doing that today, but I should have a piece of plastic to show you guys. Let's see if I can find something. Okay, here's a sticker book. Let me just get this sticker book just to show you, because it's got the plastic on it. Okay, so all you need to use your watercolor, water-based markers as a watercolor is to just scribble it down on a piece of plastic, and then just use a water pen. It doesn't have to be. You can just use a brush dipped in water and pick it up like this. Let me get a piece over here. And then you have a watercolors. I didn't pick anything out. There's no water in there. Hang on. Let me get something with more water. That might help, right? If I have some water. Are all my pins empty? Ah, here's one. I'm trying to find one that has some water in it. Okay. I think all I did was just rub that around. Okay, so you put that down, and then either with a water brush or just a brush dipped in water, you can pick up the watercolor, and you can mix colors too. So you have a watercolor set if you have watercolor markers, right? Because that's all you have to do. All right, so let's see here. Let me keep my water brush handy. Let me wipe that off so I can close the sticker book. All right. See, Molly said hi. Tracy, and I said hi. Let's see who else. Hi, Tina. Good to see you. Where's my mouse? It's buried over here. Good morning, Tina. Good to see you. So if you have these, and the Crayola watercolor, the water-based markers, they come in a gazillion colors, and they even have the whole skin set now, skin set. So you've got all the skin colors, and they're really inexpensive. Crayola, So I pulled some of those to show you. So again, water-based markers, acrylic paint. I do use a lot of watered down acrylic paint. When I say an acrylic wash, when you hear me say acrylic wash, I'm meaning watered down acrylic paint. So there's that. Alcohol marker, just like Copics. And of course, there's other brands too. I've got the Master's Touch. I've got the Milo. I got the Ohuhus. Copics are still really the best for blending. I'm not, there's just nothing like a Copic. Let's just be honest. But, other alcohol-based markers. So that being said, these pages are one-sided. So, and I did write which book I got them out of, because I have 3 of their books. You want to only use alcohol markers on a page that you don't care if it goes through, because 9 times out of 10, this is pretty heavy cardstock, but more than likely it will still go through. So alcohol markers go through the pages. So you want to use a one-sided page. And if you don't take it out of the book, make sure you put a piece of cardstock behind it, because when it goes through, not only will it go through here, it'll go onto the next page. So there is that. Okay. My pan pastels, which, I love my pan pastels. We don't use them as often as maybe I'd like or should, but, so many projects. So I just pulled a few colors just to show here. So pan pastels. And as I'm using the supplies, if you have a question about it, I'll try to answer it. I'm not an expert on, maybe color pencil, maybe my Prismacolor pencils are probably my most, what I'm know the best, but I'll try to answer any questions. Then kind of recently, I'm not sure exactly when, I bought the Hemi gouache, the Mia Hemi gouache. It might be Maya. So it's, and don't look, these stickers did not come on. The apples were not included. I stuck these on here, but this is the Mia Hemi gouache. And it's like an opaque watercolor. I've not wet this down yet. If you leave the cap off of it, it will kind of dry out like this, so it doesn't get on the cat on the top. But you can just re-wet these. You just spray them down again, and I have my water bottle here. I just spray them down again, and they're ready to go in a minute. So I have that we're gonna use. Okay, so I think I went through all the supplies. So let me show you the books that I'm using. And I picked these 7 because we're going to work on 7 different pages out of these books. The Coleridge Wild by Emmanuel Collin. This is number 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3. And there's 2 of each. There's 14 designs times 2 in each book, and they are on cardstock. It is on, like, I don't know, maybe 110 weight cardstock, and they're one-sided. Okay. And so Miss Melody sent me these some time ago, and we use them occasionally, mostly for doing samples and stuff. I've sent them out and given away some that are half done so you can finish them. So these are the ones we're going to use today. And that being said, we're not going to finish a complete each one of these, because that would probably be about 7 hours. There's 7 of them here, and I don't know that I could get one done in maybe 30, 45 minutes if I really hurried. So we're probably not going to finish any of these. My idea here is to show you the different supplies that you can use and how they differentiate, right? The different looks. And I figured if I had 7 faces, then it may be a good way to show Tina. It may be hi Jonica. It may be a good way to show the results you get with different things. And of course, the paper does matter. So if I show you something with the water-based markers on here, that may be a totally different look on a thinner paper or on a more textured paper. This is very, very lightly textured. It's this backside is a little bit smoother, so it has just a tiny bit of texture, but not much. But your supplies are going to all work differently on different paper. Okay, so if you see me do something here and you don't get the exact same result on a thin, smooth paper, well, it's because the papers are different. I always recommend, hi Ray, I always recommend that whatever color book you have, there's always going to be a page or something in the back where you can test the paper, or on the content page, the intro page, somewhere in the book, there's going to be a page, a place where you can test. And I always recommend, regardless of whatever materials you're using, that you test, because every book is different. There's been some books that my watercolor, like even in Nick Filbert's books, the Serene and the Irene, those 2 books have totally different paper, and it reacts totally different. So you do need a test page. Yes, exactly. So these are the ones that I've chosen out of these 3 books, and I did write down the back. This one is out of, so if you like a particular one really well and you want to know what book it's out of, I wrote it on the back. So this is out of book 2. This one's out of book 2. This one is out of book 3. This one is out of book 3. This one is out of book 1. This is out of book 1. And this one is out of book 1. And like I said, there's 2 of each. There's 14 designs in each book, and there's 2 of each. But I've used quite a few of them. So when I'm flipping through here, you're probably not going to see 2 of each, because I've used quite a few of these. I've done that one. I've done quite a few of them. But this is book 1. This is book 2. I'll just kind of do a quick little. Okay. And this is book 3. Whoops. and they're all perforated. They all have a perforation so you can tear it out on the thing. I usually just tear it completely out so that there's not a little piece of paper hanging there, and then just cut the edge there. So those are the 3 Coleridge Wild books, and by Emmanuel Collin. There's the name right there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to set the books aside now. And don't forget, I will maybe, do y'all want me to, before we get started, do the Society of Idea Collectors? A lot of people like me to do it at the very beginning so they know they can find it. I can go ahead and do the that real quick if you like, before we get started coloring. From Dee, these are my favorite books. I learned how to use pan pastels watching. Aw, thanks, love. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Color. Yeah, if you want to talk to me, put it in caps. And I still may miss it, so I'm not ignoring anybody. If I don't answer you, it's not because I don't see you. It's because I don't see you. Hi, Rain. Because I do have to look away. Oh, thanks, Tina. Thank you, Tina. And when the mods put links, when the mods put links in the chat, they are direct links that you can click on later if you're even if you're watching the recording. Oh, and speaking of watching a recording, always make sure, guys, that you have live chat clicked, especially if you're reading chat while you're watching. If top chat is the default, and if you don't change it to live chat, you will not see all the chat, and that goes for everybody's live streams. So if you're watching someone's live stream and you miss some conversation, go, what's going on there? It's probably because you have top chat clicked and not live chat. Okay, so all right, let's go ahead. Then I'll do the Society of Idea Collectors real quick. So I just got out a book for an example. So here's the home. Well, I gotta quit saying homework because I don't want it to be homework. Okay, so we're going into week 12. Week 12 was to pick a lost civilization and do something with that art. And if you want to post, your piece for everybody to see it on Instagram, hashtag Society of Idea Collectors, all one word. SOIC won't work because some school has that. I think they took it away from us, but we let them have it. Now, just put in Society of Idea Collectors, all one word. And if you can remember, either put the week that you're posting about or the description of what you're doing. Like, 1 week we did shapes, just put, I don't remember what week it was, but we did shapes, or, just so that everybody can tell which a weekly idea you are working on. You don't have to, but it makes it easier if I want to show to people. I'm defaulting. Then you need to change it, Riri. I am streaming at 1080, so you are defaulting to 144. So you need to change it, Riri. If you're telling me that you're blurry, you need to change it. Yeah, because I am streaming at 1080p. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Pacola. Let me click on that. And that's the other thing. If it does go blurry or something jumps or something, go check your little setting wheel. Oh, you did? Okay. Check your little setting wheel, Riri, and change it to 1080p or 720, depending on what your device and your internet can do. Okay. But I am streaming at 1080p. Okay. So here's week 13. Love you, Riri. Week 13 is pick a book. I picked one because it's so big. If but pick a book or 2 or 3, and it can be an art magazine. It could be a photo album, a photo book, a book of photos, abandoned. It's best to kind of have something with a variety in it, an art book, a Somerset Studio, an art journaling magazine, something that has a lot of variety in it. If you just pick something that has one topic, one look to it, then it's kind of defeating the purpose of this assignment. And if you don't have any books or magazines, and just go on Pinterest or, any online art place to look for art. And the idea here is to go through the book with a sketch pad or sketchbook or paper, pencil, or pen, have it handy. And what you're going to do is you are going to write down, sketch or doodle, however you take notes, and put down notes, ideas, colors, textures. You're going just to go through. You're going to go through the book and write down ideas and notes. Let me find it here. Well, I think I could just put it in. Let's just go here. I got some blank pages back here. And just, I don't know how much time we're going to have to do this, but I'll just let me see. Let me get one of my new black wing pencils. Hang on. I'm knocking them all out here. Let's move these little babies. Let's move these over here where they're not going to keep falling out. Okay. So I'll get one of my new black wing pencils that Annie gave me, that she brought back from California for me. So I'll sharpen one. I have one sharpened in my pencil bag, but I'll go ahead and do another. Let's see. Yeah, or refresh. Yes, thank you. F5, Tina said. F5. Okay. All right. So the idea here is to go through a book. And I picked this DK design book because it's got such a variety, like I said. And what you do is just start going through the book. I'm just going to open it at random. And anything that catches your eye. Now, don't just stop because you think you should do something from every page. Oh, thanks, Tina. Some days, I'm a little low energy, but I try to be here for y'all. I try to be here for you. So it could just be, and don't necessarily look at it as what it is. So like right here, look at this little design here. And if you can't really see it well, then take a picture of it. Take a picture, it lasts longer. So if you can't see it, like, let's just say you can't see that design very well, then let's just take a picture of it. I'll take a picture of it, and then I'll show you what I mean. All right, so then I'll go over to that design with my pencil pointing to it, and then I can zoom in and look at it really close. Now, I might look at this and go, this might be, I kind of see that, look at this upside down. I could do a mushroom. So to me, this kind of looks like a mushroom shape if it was upside down. But then if you think about, okay, so I like this as a mushroom, and then draw, and of course, take more time. I'm trying to show you the idea, right? Maybe I should be doing this in pen because it would show up better. Let's see if I do this in pen. Will it show up better? Probably need to do it in a Sharpie, because I really want y'all to be able to see. That's why I usually work big or with the Sharpie. I don't normally do that when I'm personally sketching. No, I can't find my Sharpie. But that's what I do on camera so that you can see it better. Well, where's my big Sharpie? I'll put it in my pencil case. When I went over the weekend and drew with Cameron, well, I don't know what I did with my big Sharpies. Oh, I got more of them. Okay, let's just keep rolling with a regular pen. So, maybe this is the idea that you see when you look at this. So then just, sketch it down. Or you could make notes, right? You can make notes. Mushroom with, and I know this is wood, but I'm thinking of it like ironworks, with ironworks design. And that may spark you to draw a whole little gnome forest, So if you just, get a couple of little quick sketch down, and then write a note or two, that's what I'm talking about. And the only reason I want to take a picture is so you can see that you can do that to make something bigger if you can't see it. Okay. So, and then look at this little screen here. Maybe I just want to make a note that in the gnome forest, maybe there's a little gnome changing clothes behind the screen, a dressing screen. Gnomes? You see? So this is how your Society of Idea Collector notebooks take shape. Hi, Barb. Is by collecting ideas, right? And then if you want to, you can go back and color. Again, why can't I find my big black Sharpie? I've got tons of them, and I can't put my hand on a single one. I cleaned out all my pencil drawers, so they're not in these drawers anymore. I don't know where my big Sharpies are. Here's, I think this is one up here. No, that's the little Sharpies. Looking for, you see my pin wall, and I can't find one single fat Sharpie. Oh my gosh. All right, well, here, let's just use this. So anyway, I think you get the idea on this one, okay? All right, so I'm just going to keep kind of flipping through the pages. Let me just turn the page so you can see it on this side. So this is a lot of furniture in this section, right? Okay, look at this one here. This one's on guardian angels. And this whole book is on design. It's huge. It's a big, thick DK book. All right, so now, I can look at this, and let's draw with the marker so you can see. So maybe the angel has kind of a teal color, and a kind of a teal color body with gold wings. So maybe I just want to get down, maybe I like the color. Maybe it's not so much the angel itself, but that I like the gold wings with the teal body. Okay, and this is an architectural angel. So, just write notes like that. Okay, just grab one of them other Billy's. Yeah, no, I'm just so used to doing it with a Sharpie on camera, and then maybe some of the little designs in the building, or just whatever catches your eye. Or maybe it's because it's stained glass. Again, it needs to be a black marker, but maybe make it a stained glass. And just the idea here is not necessarily that you're going to make a project with this. You may, but the idea is to get the idea, because it's whatever is grabbing your attention. It's just something you may be attracted to. Well, and you maybe have a lot more detail of why it's attractive to you. Maybe because the gold is very shiny or glows. Okay, maybe it's shiny and glows. Maybe that's what's attracting you, but kind of analyze it. When you're going through this kind of, what Arlene's laughing at, I'm afraid to look. Analyze what it is that you like. Is it because it's, it's sitting on an architectural, it's an architectural column, what is it? What is it that you like about it? Is it the colors, the texture, the negative space? But write that down. So if you take some colors, or write down a little sketch or a doodle, write down the notes that why it's attractive to you. So this is like a Tiffany. I think it's Tiffany. Maybe it's not Tiffany. A Tiffany vase. But look at it almost looks like peacock feathers. So if you just kind of sketch this out, and it looks like peacock feather inspiration. And if you're not sure where they got the inspiration, again, kind of do this kind of quick. Get a magazine or a book, and just kind of go through it and just see what attracts you to it. And is it the shape? So this is like an iridescent green, and this is gold. And maybe if you want to add the details of everything. you know, and then if you want to draw the smaller feathers here like this. So if nothing else, maybe this makes you think of a peacock and then something else occurs to you. And you go, I got to look up a peacock because I like the way the shape of their feathers, or I like the colors in a peacock, you know, whatever it is. So again, hi Nanamo. Anybody else coming in? So the idea is to just go through and look at what it is that's attracting you to that piece, right? Whatever it is that's attracting you. You know, do you like this, you know, very geometric, mid-century modern kind of, you know, style, or angles? I should say angles. You know, look at this right here. I'm not even sure. It's a 1997 light, but what I'm seeing in it is colors like what I'm being attracted to it to is it's kind of a creamy white for those three, and then yellow, and then orange. And then there's a one sitting over here that's gray, and those colors go well together. So I might take a let's see, let me get some more better colors here. Let me get an orange, a yellow, a gray, okay, and maybe a creamy color. Okay. And I'm not liking that cream color. I like white. So these might be yellow, and I didn't mean to pick a fluorescent one, but you'll still get the idea. So those are yellow, orange, and gray. And maybe you just like that color combination, so that's all you need. It's not that you're trying to do this lamp, draw this lamp, make this lamp, or anything else. And now maybe you do really love that lamp and you want more detail. But what attracted me to this was the colors, right? So as long as I get down the colors, then I have that idea down. Okay. All right. So I don't know what Janet's talking about. She was an indentured nun. Did I? Oh, she was in detention. I thought she said she. No, oh gosh. Sorry, guys. See, this is what happens when I try to read chat that's not in caps. When it's in caps, I don't get in trouble. Especially when Janet and my mods are a hoot. All of them are. Okay, so look at this. This looks like it's embroidered on linen. Look at that beautiful gold. You know, there's just inspiration for everybody. The Art Nouveau, which I still have. And let me go ahead and rabbit trail this. I still have my Art Nouveau pack of book here. This is ready to make a journal out of Art Nouveau stuff. It's all packaged up in one pack, but we haven't got to that lately, or ever really. So, but maybe you like her face, maybe you like her eyes, maybe you want to take a pencil and sketch her, maybe you like it that she has blonde hair with red poppies, just whatever. Oh, bye, Mama Ford. Thanks for stopping in. Bye, Deb. Anybody else coming in that I've missed? Thanks for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Okay, so whatever it is that just attracts you, like looking at these cameras, I can see how you could use these shapes and these dials and these knobs and these wheels and gears, and this would be a very great steampunk inspiration. So if you didn't do anything else, write down, look at old cameras for steampunk inspiration. Okay, so and I like to bullet journal things, so like that, it just tells me that's a different thought, a different idea with the bullet journaling. So again, let me just keep kind of flipping through. There's the Art Deco. Now you can look at this and you might see what color, maybe it's some color combination, maybe it's the the flat with the angles, that kind of the Art Deco look, maybe it's something to do with that. It's just whatever it is. What book is this, Riri? It's the design book, the DK Smithsonian design book. The Definitive Visual Guide, DK. Okay. And it's like, it's got everything. What is design, arts and crafts, which is 1850 to 1920. Oh, y'all want to write this down? Here we go. Look, arts and craft. Let's put, I don't know if you want to put architectural eras or just eras, design, era designs. Okay. So arts and crafts, 1850 to 1920. Again, let's bullet journal this. Art Nouveau is 1880 to 1910. Art Deco, 1919 to 1940. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry. Well, I'm saying it out loud. Then we have modernism is what they're calling it. Modernism is 1910 to 1939. Then mid-century modern is 1940 to 1959. Cultural Revolution. I'm writing as fast as I can. And again, I don't write this big when I'm writing for myself. I write big for you guys because when I'm writing, most of the time, I'll write something like this. That's kind of how big I write, you know. But I like y'all to see. Cultural Revolution, 1960 to 1979. Postmodern and contemporary. And 1980s onward. Okay. So that's how they have it broken down in this book. All right. Well, it's kind of, probably pretty standard. I'm sure there's some people that go, no. Mid-century modern lasted until, whatever. But so again, it's whatever, just go through a book, a magazine, or if you don't have books or magazines, go look on Pinterest. If you're here online, then you can go find something online and just, browse through an era if you want. Go look up mid-century modern on Pinterest and then just browse through, and anything that attracts, anything that catches your eye, just make a note about it. Okay, so that's your assignment, your weekly idea. Okay, the weekly idea, and let me read it exactly how I wrote it here. Pick 2 or 3. This one's huge, so if you have one this big, you only need one, really. That has such a variety in it. But pick 2 or 3 art books or photo books or online and go through them and sketch and doodle and take notes on what attracts you, what the ideas, the colors, the texture, and write it down and make notes and doodle, but make sure it's why are you attracted to it? Let me make a note of that. Note what attracts you to it. Okay, because that's the purpose. All right, that's to get you thinking about things you like. All right, so there we go. Let's put my little clip back on there. Put this to the side, and I will try to get to reading out of our 1001 Ways to Be Creative toward the end of the show. That's when I try to remember to do that. All right, so now let's get back to our project for the day. Again, I'm using the Coloridge Wild 1, 2, and 3 books. And there's 2 of each design, 14 different designs in each book. And I chose 7 because I wanted to show different techniques, and we're going to zoom in here, different supplies that we're going to use, different mediums, okay? All right, hi, Hedgie, and I know I'm missing people because I was looking at a book. Let me kind of scroll a little. I said hi to Darlene. I'm trying to see Fernando. Hi, Fernando, good to see you. I said hi to Nana Mo. Devin, if I missed you, good morning, Devin. Leona. Uh, let's see. Kind of scrolling there to see. I'm sure I'm missing people, but not meaning to. All right, so let's see. Maybe we'll start with pan pastels because that way I can get them off the desk and don't have to worry about the cats. Let's see. And I did write on the backs of each one. I think I like this with the greens. I might, and I just picked some random colors. I'm going to pick more out. But I like the green, the little gecko and the leaves. So these greens and let me see what other colors I might need. So I do have a full set of pan pastels. Before you go out and buy a full set of pan pastels, you can buy them individually or you can buy them in small sets like portrait set. They have different sets you can buy, basic set, I think. I would recommend just getting a couple of things to test to see if you like them. And you do need the tools. You do need I use the sponges because I don't do huge pieces with my pan pastel. I use their sponges as palettes to mix colors, and you will need their tools. This is the smallest, pointiest one. This one's a square, and this one is kind of a round one. Once you have the handles, you don't need more handles unless you're doing big professional pieces and you don't want to change things out or clean them or whatever. But these are what's changeable. So you can get the little individual sponges to replace the ones and the pointy ones. These do wear out pretty quickly. The points of these do wear out fairly quickly. These don't wear out nearly as fast, but then I don't use them as much either. And then the other thing that I use with it is an electric eraser. Whoop, let me go here. I use an electric eraser because it really works well with removing pan pastel. The other thing with pan pastel is you do have to spray it. You do have to fixative it. Okay. I'm trying to try these pan pastel. I'm trying to import them. You can't find them. You can't get them through Amazon, Fernando. Sorry, guys. I got to sip some juice here. Try to get them through the Pan Pastel site itself, Pan Pastel website. But again, try a couple of them. Don't get it there because they are expensive. But that being said, one of these cost about as much as as one of well, not a Ohuhu. Let me get up. I'm gonna get a Copic here as one Copic. So one Copic is about the price of one's pan pastel, about $8 each in the U.S. I mean, of course, it's going to depend on where you get them, but they're about $8 each. So it's not inexpensive. But here's the thing: unless you buy the refills, which you can buy the refills for Copics. Let me grab one here. You can buy Copic refills. These will last you forever. The only one I've even really made a dent in is the white. And that's the only one I've really even made a dent in. They will last forever. And when you buy them individually, they have a screw lid on them. They have a cap on them, so they are covered. I have mine in the trays, so I don't have the lids on them. But and I don't think they come with lids when you buy them in the tray. But if you buy them like at an art supply store, then they have caps on them, right? All right, so let's go ahead and see here. I might need another, like maybe another light. Oh, let me get white out because I'll blend. So let's get, and I do have a couple whites, ones of white, because that's the only one that I've really dug down into to any extent. So I think I'll just use these 3 greens that I have. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. And again, let me say, oh, I got to get a paper towel. We're not going to finish all of these. Sorry, guys. I should have made some hot coffee for my voice. We're not going to finish all of these. And this is how I clean them. You just can clean them on a paper towel. Okay. Even though they're stained. And people ask me, can you wash them? I've been told you can. I never do. I just clean them off on a paper towel. And that seems to be good enough. And then again, I use the sponges as I use the sponges for mixing on to blend like a palette to blend in. So let's go ahead and start with this girl here. And oh, the other thing that's handy to have is a kneaded eraser with pan pastels. Okay, because you can pick up. You're going to pick up little blobs and stuff as you go, and you want to make sure everything is very clean and exactly where you want it before you spray it. And I spray it with a Grumbacher Final Fixative. You can get a workable fixative, but is that the one I use? Wait a minute, let me look. Yeah, the Final Fixative. Oh, is that it? Yeah, this is it. This is the one I use. Make sure you get matte, because I have accidentally bought gloss before. You do not want gloss. You want matte. This is what I use to fix the pastel. Okay. All right. So let's see. Again, put it in caps. All right. Let's see what I want to start with. Let's go ahead maybe and just start with, am I close enough? Maybe I need to move in one more. That's pretty good, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put a base. Whoops, let me clean my up here. I'm going to start with a base of this kind of, what kind of green would you call this? Well, it has a name on the bottom, but bright yellow green shade. And they're shades. If they have black, they are tints if they have white. Okay, so I'm just going to put down a little base on him. And again, remember, guys, all these that I use, whether it's watercolor, gouache, pan pastels, watercolor markers, alcohol markers, I always use pencil along with them for details. So I'm just getting a nice little base on here. So let's get him blocked in. And let's just say, oh, I want some highlights on him. Well, that's where you can use your eraser and you can get in here and erase. See how it takes it off? I don't want quite that much, but I just wanted to show you. Am I close enough, guys? Did you put fixative on? Yeah, before pen. No, I don't use fixative on just pencil. Yeah, no, I don't. The only time I use fixative is if there's pastels involved. Otherwise, nothing gets fixative. Just the pastel. Okay, so now let me get some of that darker color off there and move back. I want to go over here to the light green. Oops, see, I tore it. You got to be real careful. They'll tear. Now, you can take these off and flip them around, but these are the only ones that you really have to be gentle with because they're so thin at the tip. All right, so now I'm going to put this light green, this light green on here. And so here's where using an eraser is so handy. Like, see all those little lines, all the little or the little branches? I could go in there with pencil and do that. Or if I want to, look, I can just go right into her hair and do those branches and then erase them out. Or if I'm going to do, black or dark brown or, highlights of blue in her hair, then it's really not going to matter much because I can go over it. But my point is that, like, if I go out of line, look, if I just go out of line there or whatever, then I can go in and erase it because pan pastels erase so easily. I want to try and make sure. Can you zoom in one more? I can. You won't see the colors probably, but that's okay. Is that better? It's a little flashed out. Let's see about turning down the brightness. There we go. How's that? Is that better? All right. So I'm going to put this light green. And again, I'll probably work a little longer on this one because I'm using the pan pastels. But when I go to the others with the markers and everything, I'm not going to probably be as much in detail because I want to show you 7 different things. My list again is pencils. And then when I say like gouache and pencil, watercolor marker and pencil, alcohol markers, pan pastels, acrylic paint washes, and watercolor. That's the different ones that I pulled. So we'll see how much we get done. All right, so I'm just going to get all the branches and everything that I want with that green. And then any place that I don't want it, you don't have to, I'm trying to go a little fast, right? So any place that I don't want the pencil, I mean the pan pastel, I'll just go in here and I can just easily erase it. Can just erase it, okay, and clean it up. Is that better? Okay, good, guys. So a pan pastel and then pencil don't need. Yes, you need fixative with pan pastels, Julia. I thought you meant do I use pencil? I mean, do I use a fixative with just pencil? Yes, you will. Anytime you're using pan pastel, regardless of what else, the pan pastel is going to move. So yes, because I'm not covering up the pastel 100%. And even if I were going to do that, there's still probably going to be pastel residue that will smear. It will smear very easily. I mean, look, you just pick it right up. Okay, it's very highly, pan pastel are very highly concentrated. You don't need a lot, but it's still very creamy pastel. Okay. You can do them both, Julia. I could go spray this now and then do pencil. It depends on how big and how much area you're covering. If you're doing a lot of pan pastel, you probably want to spray it before you start working with pencil because you're going to have your hand rest and the chances of it smearing are greater if it's not fixative. So you can fix it. I don't think I've ever fixatived anything more than 3 times. I prefer to only spray it twice. Yeah. So, I might get all the let me clean this brush off again over here on the paper towel. I can go spray it after I get a base coat here and then come in with pencil and more pastel. But if I go spray it, come back, add pencil and more pastel, you have to spray it again because you've added another layer of pastel on top of the fixative. The fixative is not going to fixative something that's placed on top, right? It's not the pencil that needs spraying, it's the pan pastel. So if I spray this, if I do the pan pastel and I spray it, and I'm going to get here, I'm going to mix some colors here. I could get more colors. I just picked a few here. If I spray it and only use pencil on top after that, it would be okay. But more than likely, you're going to end up using more pastel as well. See how the reason I need these sponges to mix color? I've asked them pan pastel, please make a square of this material because it's not just like it's a different kind. They're foamy stuff. It's not like a makeup wedge. It's different. And I've asked them to make to make a palette out of their sponge material, but as far as I know, they haven't yet. All right, so now let's go ahead and just get her based in. I don't want to get her. I want to kind of keep it kind of light because I don't want to lose highlights on her face. Of course, again, I can always erase it as long as I haven't fixatived it. Once you fixative it, you're not going to be able to erase it completely. So you really want to make sure if you have any highlights picked out or, anything that you need lighter, you want to make sure, I mean, you can add a light coat of stuff over the top, but you're not going to be able to erase it back to the paper if you fixatived it. And her hair is very short. So, and when you do real short hair like this, remember their skin's going to show through the hair. So even though I'm going to go back in and darken her hair, the shaved parts of her hair, the shaved areas, her skin is showing through. So you want to add a layer of skin color under a shaved head or shaved area. So I'm just taking my time. With pan pastels, you really need to kind of take your time and, blend it carefully. And then again, if you get out of lines there, then you can take your eraser. Always make sure you have a clean spot on your eraser, and you can erase like where you got out of line, or like where I just touched right there. You may not be able to see that, but I can. You can keep. I would recommend, and let me get one, a baby wipe. Keep your hands clean. And while I'm working on this, normally when I'm working on with pan pastels, if I'm not here with you guys, I'm not talking. But I will warn you because I've done it. when you're talking, you might, I don't want to say spit on purpose, but you might, spray. Even one little dot of spittle is going to it will show up because you've got a little something wet. So you want to be careful when you're doing pan pastels not to get any, spray or, again, when I'm working by myself, I'm not talking, right? So the chances of that happening are nil. But when I'm sitting here talking, I'm being real careful not to accidentally spray on it, right? Oh, hi, Abigail. That's just a little warning. So I can see where my hands have touched. And again, I have a baby wipe to kind of keep my hands clean. But you don't want to get any water on there because it will make a dot. Yeah, don't sneeze. Exactly, Cat and Paste. Don't sneeze. I've got a dot of water on a face before, and I've had to turn it into a freckle or a mole because it's a white dot. And when you go over it, with pan pastel, let's see. Let me get a little. I got a piece back here that's where I was using a sample. This is one of the other samples that we did a while back, right? So it's not finished. Well, I don't. Maybe I'll finish that sometime. Let's not use that one. I've got a whole bunch of different ones that we've done over the time, so I don't want to ruin them. This one here. Let's use this one because I've got some marks on it already, some paint marks. Okay, so like this, I'm not going to spit on it. I'm going to use a piece of water. I'm going to use a water brush. But let's say you just got a little bit of water on there. Whoops, that's not clean. I got watercolor on there. Let's do it up here. So let's just say you got a little spot of water. Now you can't see it there. Okay, so you got a little spot of water. And even if you try to dry it, now watch what happens with pan pastel. See what happens? So you got to be careful not to get anything wet because that will happen. And even though you try to erase it, look, you really can't. So don't get any spit, water, or sneezes on your pan pastel because you'll get that. Okay? Big warning right there, people. Big warning. Don't get your pan pastel wet. And if you're using a baby wipe to clean your hands, make sure that, like I have a work shirt, a work vest on. So when I clean my hands, I can dry them on my shirt. Because if your hands are wet and you touch your paper and you touch an area that you're going to pan pastel, you're going to have, hi Linda, you're going to have that spot there and you can't really get rid of it. I mean, I've freckled over people. Yeah, masks are required with pan pastels, Barb. Yeah. Okay. So now I got that started. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and I want to get my dark blue. This is what I like in my black here. So I'm going to get, and the other thing about pan pastels, you don't want to be doing things over them. Like, I don't want to be you know, I have a habit of doing this. I'll show you guys a pan pastel and I'll flip it over and tell you the name of the color. Well, what I've done then is I've put little bits on the piece. So don't hold it up to a camera. Flip it over and drop pan pastel right on top of your piece. See, look, I just did that. You really have to be tidy with pan pastels. Okay, so this is my Payne's gray, my black, and I'm going to, here's a section. See, again, I've got the different palette, you know, I use different sections for different palettes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean off my little tool again over here on the paper towel. Yeah, good one. Yeah, hi Jane, by the way. Jane, I sent out I sent everybody's napkins out yesterday. Bye, Julia. Or no, it's Julia. Bye, Julia. Okay. Anybody else coming in and popping in and leaving? Thanks for being here. All right. So I'm trying to get this nice and straight on the little tip, but in the meantime, I've picked up all kinds of pan pastel on my hands. So I got my baby wipe here. I'm going to clean my hands off. You know, you have to be tidy. You have to be tidy with pan pastels. All right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some just the blue highlights in her hair first. And then I'll go back and I'll put black and then pencil for some of the like curly, you know, to make it look curly, especially on the edges. So I'm going to have her hair be very black, which means there's probably blue highlights in it. So I'm going to put a coat of Payne's gray down. And then I'll mix some of the black and Payne's gray. Or I just might get in there with pencil. Because you can see how tight some of these areas are. That's why I use pencil. I use pencil and pan pastel. I use pencil and watercolors. I use pencil and with markers, you know, with all of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a little bit of the Payne's gray in here. Maybe just kind of feather those edges so that the edges of her hair, and when you blow on your piece, make sure you don't spit on it now. Just soften those edges up. And pan pastels are not near as crumbly or as flaky or as messy as like regular pastels. They're so creamy. They're not oily, but there's some kind of, you know, I'm sure it's their secret formula that makes them so concentrated, and they're not dry. That's one thing that took me a long time to think about using pan pastels. Oh, they're dry. I hate that chalky, dry pastel feel. So I thought that pan pastels would be that way, but they're not. They're not at all. They have a little bit of dust, but not near the dust that regular pastels have. Okay, so I think I got all. It's probably hard for you to see that kind of blue gray in there, but because when I go in there with the black, you'll be able to really, it'll pop. Now there's a couple little places here where I got it on the stem, so I want to kind of get rid of that. And again, look, see, I touched right there, so you have to be neat about it. And of course, when I look away to the camera is the times that I'm usually touching something. You know, you probably, you know, it's a little harder to stream when you're doing this. All right, so I'm waving it off. Is that bye, Becky? If you're leaving, oh, you're gonna go lurk. Okay. All right, so I got that started. Now let's go ahead and go in here with some of this darker green. I'm gonna clean off my brush a little. I'm gonna get some of this darker green and add a little bit of the darker green on the gecko here. I'll do most of my shading with the gecko with pencil, but I just want to kind of show you. I'm going to add a little bit in here. You can get quite tiny, and you know, there's times you just got to take more time. Which, you know, I want to make sure we get 7 things done today. I don't know. All right, so now I'm going to get my one of my palettes here, and I'm going to get this dark green and this green, And I'm going to do a little mixing here. So I have a kind of a mid-tone green. I'm going to need to change that tip because I tore it. And I want to start doing a little bit of shading on the leaves. And you can go back in there with, like, if you want little individual veins and things in your leaves, you can go in there and do that with pencil. I'm just going to kind of try to add a little bit of shading before we do some pencil work. Okay, can y'all see everything okay? Okay, so I just want to get a little bit in there. Yes, Pan Pastel is the brand name. They're the only, I mean, I don't know if anybody else makes faux Pan Pastels, but yeah, that is the brand name. All right, so let's see, I got a couple little. This is why you need a kneaded eraser. So you can, I mean, you don't have to have one, but it's just easier just to keep cleaning this than trying to make sure if you're using a plastic eraser, you know, the white erasers, you have to always make sure they're clean before you start erasing or you're going to be making a mess. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted this one. I'll probably be working on the Pan Pastel one the longest. The other ones, I'll just maybe do a little section of a face or a section of a flower, you know. Bye, Arlene. All right, so now I'm going to go back in here with a little bit more of my sienna brown, which I shouldn't be doing this over the piece, see? I should be blending it off over here so I don't drop dust. All right, so now I'm going to get in here and do some shading. Again, most of my shading I end up doing with pencil, especially in the eyes and things. But I want to get a little bit of okay, and then I'm going to go back into the blue and put a little bit in her. And I'll kind of keep it kind of model-like because I want it to look like her, you know, she has the shave. And then we can do some more of that with pencil. Shadow under there. And I need more shadow under the gecko's little body and stuff. Okay, so there's a start. All right, so I really should go, let me do one more thing. Let's blend this out. I really should go ahead and spray this. So I think I'll just go real quick out on the porch and spray this. And then the rest of the detail I'll probably just do with pencil, although I may need to do something else with Pan Pastel, but I'm going to try to do the more of it with pencil. Okay, so let's see. I need to lighten up her chin just a little. There we go. Do a little more blend. And maybe she has a little bit of a color in her cheek. Let's see here. And I could even do just a tiny bit in her lips. Just add a little bit of color and then soften that. Okay, something like that to start with. Might want a little bit highlighted. on the profile just a little. Okay. All right. So trust me, I could spend a lot more time, and I have, and y'all have seen me on Colorbook pages do a lot more shading with the pan pastels, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want to get to the pencil and the other mediums that we're going to use today. I kind of want to get a little bit. I'm going to highlight a couple spots like her ear here. Just a touch on her nose there. Maybe a little bit on her. Just a couple little places that I might want to highlight. Okay, so let me go ahead and take this out and spray it real quick. Oh, I'm getting those. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all this too. It's probably obvious to most of y'all that are online a lot, but um, if you ever get text messages, hang on, I'm going to delete it. If you ever get text messages that look so official from your bank, something looks funny about your account, log in right now and let us fix it. So you're not, don't be taken in by a bunch of fake bank, even though it looks official and it looks like it's from your bank. If you think you have a problem with your bank, call your bank. Don't just go click and accept a text message because it looks official from your bank. That's probably obvious to most of you, but because I just got one, somebody may need to hear that. Yeah, exactly, Tina. Exactly. Exactly. All right, so let me go out and spray this real quick. Let's make sure that there's no places here that have a little bit of dust or anything, because once it's sprayed, you're not going to be able to erase. All right, so this is at a good point for me to go do that. So I'm going to just run real quick. This is the fixative that I'm using. Grumbacher matte. Do not get gloss. Matte. It looks exactly the same. So make sure you get matte final fixative. Okay, so now I'll be right back. Just take me a second, guys. Go out on the porch and spray this. And for whatever reason, the final fixative seems to have less odor than the workable fixative for whatever reason, but they both have smell. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and hit it real quick at the heat gun to make sure it's dry. It dries almost instantly, but I just want to make sure. Okay, so now let me go ahead and move the pastels, because again, I don't want to spend the project today is not about pan pastels per se. It's about using different mediums in your color books. All right, let's get rid of that. All righty. All right, so again, put it in caps if you're talking to me. Oh, thank you, Julianne. All right, so Julie G. So now I'm going to get my pencils, and I have tons of pencils. I love my Prismacolors, and they're in silverware trays because they're divided up that way. So I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to, even though if I was going to do this myself, I would probably leave this stuff out because I'd want to use it again. I'm going to resist doing more with pan pastel because I'm going to have to keep cleaning things off to make room for the next supply. So that's what I'm going to have to do with the pan pastel. So let me quickly put them back in their trays so that I can go on to the pencils. my squeaky chair. All right, so now we're going to go into just some pencil. All right, hi Herbie, or Herbie. Okay, so now I'm going to move these over to the side for a minute till we get to them. And I'm just going to come in here with some pencil and just do a little bit of pencil, just because I want to show you, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get some black. Let me sharpen. Got my little sharpener in my little bowl here to keep on my desk. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Lena. Good to see you. If y'all don't follow Miss Lennox 2010, Lena, let me click on her. She does some awesome art over on her channel. She's out of Denmark. So good to see you, Lena. And she's a hoot, too. Miss Lena's a hoot. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the hair. And again, I'm not going to be able to finish this whole thing if I want to do 6 other pieces, right? But I'm going to start doing some shading and some curls. So I'll do a little section here, just so y'all can see what it looks like when you start adding in pencil. And hopefully you'll be able to see. Yeah, you can see that showing up. So I'm just kind of doing little curls here in her hair. And then when I get to the edge is when I want to feather it out softly on the edges. This is a little more, concentrated curls here. But when I get out here on the edge, I'm going to make a really soft, little tiny. Can y'all see that? See, I'm doing soft little curls rather than having it just like that. I'm adding little curls along the edge there. So I'm not going to do the whole thing. Like I said, this is more about showing you the techniques than it is about finishing these because I wanted to show you so many. Okay. Now the same thing that I want to do up under, I want to get a little bit more shade. I could get another dark brown, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this. But I want to shade under each little finger of the gecko, right up under his body there. I want to get some shadows in there. Because remember, I always tell y'all, high contrast is what's going to make your color book pages pop. I get people, and I say this all the time, but it's worth repeating. I get people all the time asking me, they'll color along or colors very similar pages or the same idea, or even try to color the exact same page and use the exact same colors. And then they'll say, Dee Dee, look at this page. What's wrong with it? I use the same colors. I use the same technique. 9 times out of 10 is that they don't have enough contrast. They don't have enough darks and lights. It looks more like this than this. It's because they're afraid to get in there and get darks and lights. And the other thing is, you see, I'm adding these little hairs and things kind of curling out. Don't be afraid to add your own touches. I always say, Kirby and, Nick Filbert, they're not going to email you and say, you did it. I didn't add that curl there. Why are you, they're not going to email you. They're not going to email you and ask why you changed their picture. Okay, so I think you can get the idea. See how I just did some little there compared to this is what it looks like. Just a soft little area, but I wanted little curls kind of sticking out like that. Okay, let's do a little on the face here. So let me get a sienna. Thanks, Riri. All right, so now I want to get in here. Let me sharpen, and always keep your pencil sharp. It really matters. Okay, so now I want to get in here and get a little bit, might need a little bit darker for some of those areas here. A dark brown. And where there's some like dark behind, shading behind or inside her ear here. Just kind of take your time. And then maybe in her hair. Again, it's a shaved head. So it might be more like just little stippling than curls. Might have a couple curls in there, but she has a shaved head, so it's probably just going to be, you know, like lines. Let me show you here. Whoops, didn't mean to go out there. I put my eraser away. Hang on. Got a little smudge there too. So I'm just putting little, so you can tell that she has the side shave. Shadow under the gecko. So I get into it and it's real hard to stop on the page because I want to keep going, but I really want to show you all the different. Okay, so we put a little side shave on her. All right, let's see. What's Cat and Pay saying? One of these days, one of these color book artists is going to email. Oh, see, the reason I say that is, oh, you mean the professional, you mean the author, the artist. Yeah, the artist. Yeah, I was going to email me. Oh, well, that would be fun. Okay, so let's get Cat and Paste. Let's get a light kind of peach color to do some of the highlights. Because regardless of the color of skin, there's still light areas on whatever skin color there is. You know, there's still highlights like over the brow, maybe in the eyelid, you know, the tip of the nose there, a little on her lip, maybe. There's going to be some highlights, right? So, all right, let's go back to my sienna here now. And then the other thing, I always like thicker eyebrows on all my girls. The other thing is the eyes and the eyelashes and the iris, or the pupil, I should say. The pupil, and I think I'm going to have her have a green eye to match the gecko. Here, let's give her a green eye. Is the eyelashes, the eyeliner, the pupil, maybe inside the lip, the nostril. It's going to, you're going to have to go in there with a pen or dark, you know, pencil, like a black pencil, because the line art is very rarely very, very, very black. Okay. So if you want a dark pupil, black pupil, then you're going to have to go in there and make it that way. It's not going to be black, and you'll see the difference in just a minute. Then I got to move on to the next one because, you know, I'm having too much fun here. I'm having too much fun. It's a little bit of light right here. I haven't even done anything with the gecko yet. Maybe off camera, I'll try to work on these and finish them and then show you what they all look like after they're finished. Shading down. It does take practice, Annie Tanner. It does take practice, not going to lie. All right, so now I'm going to get and my favorite pen to use is a Sharpie pen. It says pen, not a marker. Sharpie pens I found rarely go through. Not that it matters on these, but if you want to use get a nice sharp black pupil or lashes, a Sharpie pen is awesome. Just don't get a Sharpie marker. You know, look, this is it's a pen. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom real tight while I do the eye just to show you. It's going to not be as crisp, right? It's not going to be as clear, but just long enough for me to show you the eye. All right, so look at her pupil now. So I'm going to get her pupil in there, and then I'm going to go in there with the Posca, put a highlight. Same thing for the eyelashes. Look. It's very hard to get that tiny detail with a pencil. It can be done, and I see artists do it all the time, but it's a lot easier to do it with a pen. So I'm going to get her some eyelashes, and then I'll probably put a little couple. I always like nice thick eyebrows, so I usually add a little bit more to the eyebrows, a little bit in the nostril there, inside the lip. Okay. Maybe a little bit really deep in the ear here. And I might even end up going back with a few more lines in the shave, because it'll just give it nice contrast. See the difference there with the side shave? See the difference? It's a little fuzzy because I'm so zoomed in. Now I'm going to take my Posca. Give her a couple highlights. A little bit in here. Like that. Okay. Maybe just a touch on her lip, and then I'll just put some on and then kind of tap it just to kind of knock it back, but it just gives her a little bit of a highlight on her lip. And if it's too white with the Posca, let it dry, and then you can go back in there. Where's my magenta? And go over the white once it's dry, and that still keeps it bright, but it's not bright white. Same thing, I might want to add a little bit more to her shading of her cheek, something like that. Okay, so now let me back out so you can see. Okay, and you can continue it. Again, I would, if I was doing this, I would take more time to blend her skin a little better, but you can get the idea. That's my point today, is to give y'all ideas. Same thing for the leaf. Let me do that real quick. Let me get a nice olive color. This one is not. Maybe the gecko needs a little bit more. Well, all of it needs more, because again, I would go over, parts of everything with pencil. But again, that's not my point today. So I might want a little bit of veins, maybe a little bit of, doesn't have to be real defined, maybe just a little bit. You see though? So you can go in here and do so much with pencil on top of the pan pastel. Okay? So there's one technique you can do. I'll get a little bit of this line. There's one technique is with pan pastels. The gecko needs some really darks around him to make him stand out, which all her hair would be done. Maybe a little bit of highlight here on his little feet. Maybe a little on his tail. And maybe a little bit around his eye. He might have a little bit of something on his back too. Now when that dries, I can go over this with a lime green. Same thing for any of these branches. I can go in here with that if I want to brighten some of them up. I always recommend, if you only can buy one Posca, buy a white one, because you can get in there with so much detail with the Posca. Wish pans were smaller. Yeah, I know. You'll never use them up. Right? Plays with glass. All right, so let me dry this real quick. And then I'll take my lime green and go back over where I just put the bright white, because once I go over it, it's still going to be bright, but it's not going to be white. So he's still got some bright highlight areas. Probably in his eye there too. Same thing with these branches over here where I highlighted them. You can go, make sure it's dry though, otherwise you'll just be scraping the Posca right off if it's still wet. So you can kind of see, look, here's where it's just white, and then here's where I'm going over it with the green. Same thing on the gecko there. Okay, so let me back out just for a minute so you can kind of get, because these are small pieces. Look, it's just not, it's as big as my hand. We are working really, really small. Okay. All right, so there's one with pan pastel and pencil. And I want to make sure, I won't forget, but that way I can just flip it over and say, okay, pan pastel. And they're all going to have pencil with them. So there's one with pan pastel, not finished, but you get the idea. Okay. Let's see, what do we want to do next? That took a while. Don't need to take that long on each one. All right. I think what we'll do next, let me see where my stack of girls is here. Let's see. Let's do like a blonde head girl with light skin, and we'll do that with, which one would you all rather see me do next? Watercolor or watercolor, watered down markers. Which one would you want to see next? I'm hoping to get all of them, started to show you, but obviously we can't finish them all. So do you want to see watercolor markers or do you want to see watercolor? And by the way, you can combine a lot of these too, guys. Okay. You can combine a lot of these different things. And when I say watercolor, water-based markers, you can use them straight on, or you can rub them on a piece of plastic and pick them up with water, and then they become watercolors. These become watercolors. Okay, if you rub them on a piece of plastic. And I didn't care if I want to find a better piece of plastic. Let me see here. I just used a back of a sticker paper. I know I have a better piece of plastic around here somewhere, but well, let me just tear this off then. But I can't find any, so okay. Looks like it's both. Okay, well maybe, all right, let's do her face with watercolor, and then maybe her hair and the what do you call it, flower, a part of that. Now I need something behind this because otherwise it looks just like, just looks, you can't see it. So let's see. See, I was using it earlier. Okay, so let me go ahead and show that first then. So here's a couple different shades of pink and purple. And these are just the Crayola Super Tips. All right, so I'm going to put down this purpley pink, and this is a lighter one. I got them on the wrong lids. That's what it is. I think. Maybe not, because I see, one's a Sargent and one is a Crayola. That's what it is. Okay, well, let's get that correct then. Okay, so let's get this purple, and let's get a pink. Hang on. I want to try to use the same markers brand just because it makes it easier to explain. Okay, so here I got some pinks in the Crayola Super Tips. All right, so now I'm going to just put some down. And is this one dried out? No, it's there. It's just very light. Let's go with the darker one so you can see it. All right, so I have a couple pinks and a purple. So if you take a water brush, I've used a water brush. You don't have to use a water brush. You can just dip a paintbrush in water. But the idea is just to have very little water. Let me get a thing to clean my brush off with. Make sure it's clean because I used that brown color earlier. Okay, so now, how are we on lighting and everything? Let's see, it looks, because I move things around. Let's brighten it back up just a tad. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take the water brush, and I can pick this up, okay? I can pick this marker up and do a wash. And it's just like using watercolor. Now, this is not a watercolor paper, just saying. Oh, that's a leaf. This is not a watercolor paper, so As long as I don't get too oversaturated, it won't pill. Pilling is when the paper starts breaking down and you get the fibers. Okay. So I'm going to just put some of this. Maybe leave a little bit of highlighting. Okay, something like that. And then let it dry. If you want darker areas with watercolor, and that's either with watercolor or with markers watered down, let that section dry, and then you can get darker, okay? You can add more. But don't just keep piling on the water, because that's when you're going to pill the paper. You know, if it's not watercolor paper, which this is not. Okay, so that's green right in there. So I'm just picking up the marker. So if you can't afford a bunch of watercolors, or you're not sure you're going to like watercolor and you don't want to buy a lot of watercolors, just go get you a set of Crayola Super Tips. And you can get them, you know, this size, or you can get big ones, you know. I think there's more colors with the thin ones, but you could get either one. All right, so now let me go ahead and I'm going to clean off my brush. I clean it on a Kleenex. Okay, let me get a couple of greens. Let's see, let's get this one. Let's get a couple of greens. All right. Oh, let me get a baby wipe. You gotta keep cleaning things as you go. I'm gonna clean off this brown right here. Remember, this is just a piece of plastic. All right, let's see. Do I see anything in? I'm trying to look. I don't see anything in caps. I might have missed it though. All right, so now I'm going to take the light green. Okay, make sure my brush has been cleaned off, so I'm not picking up another color. I'm just going to pick up the light green. Now I'm going to just quickly go in here with all the leaves. And you can go direct on. I mean, I could just color with this, but it's going to be streaky and it's going to be flat. If you water it down like this, you're going to have more variety in the color. It's not going to just be a flat color. And then let me clean my brush off here. I need a little bit more pink right up on that little bud. Okay. All right, so now let me dry this. And now, whoops, hang on, I hit that light. Now I can be careful that light's there. My heat gun. All right, now I'm going to pick up some more. And now I can go in here and add even darker areas. Can y'all see? Maybe I just need to zoom in again. Hang on. Hang on. Janet. All right, so now I'm going to pick up some more and I'm going to do some shading. See, but because it's dry, because I dried it, now I can get in here and add more. And remember, these are just Crayola Super Tip markers. Super Tips just seem to have the most color. So you can get in there and see, I can start doing more shading. And again, I'm not going to try to finish each one of these. I might try to do that later. But I want to just show you the different things you can do. Okay. Then let me clean off the brush. Then if I want, I can kind of just blend some of that in because it's water, right? So I can go back and kind of, you know, blend anything I want. Then let it dry or dry it again. And then you can go back and blend again. Okay. All right. So I think you got that idea. Now let me go in here with just a little bit more green, a darker green. I think that's the same green. Go in here with a little bit darker green. And then do a little bit in the leaves. A little bit bit more. It works better when the plastic is dry. If you're picking up a lot of water and you go back with the scribbling, you probably find a dry spot because it'll go down better with the if it's on a dry spot. Okay, so I'm just getting in here. Dry my brush, dry, blend, blend, blend. Okay, so does that help y'all with markers, the water-based markers? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a little bit on our hair, and then I'll dry that and show you how you can add with pencil. All right, so let's get a couple of shades of yellow. Here, this. Maybe a little bit of. Let's see what these two look like. All right, so now I'm going to clean this off, dry it, and I'm going to put down a couple shades of yellow. Let's go ahead and just get her a base coat first. Make sure my water brush is cleaned off from the pink. And let's just get a yellow base down on her hair. And I'm not squeezing out any water. I'm just using, oh, I forgot those little leaves there. That's okay. I'm just using the water that's coming out of the water brush. Okay, let me dry that. Let's add a little bit more of this golden color. Let's see if it's enough difference. And I need to dry it. Okay. I'm going to put some of this down. It's not too much different. It's a little different, but not a lot of difference. I might need a little bit darker shade with a little bit more brown in it. Or let's see, I'll just put a little bit down. Do a little blend. Got to be careful with this though, because you can get it streaky. I'm just going to put a little bit down and blend. And I can feel the paper starting to pill right in there where I'm adding this, because I'm adding this marker on top of wet paper. So it's going to start pilling pretty soon. This paper is even this is like 110 weight. Cardstock, it's still going to pill if you're not careful. All right, so you see how I started getting some darks in there? Because I am trying to hurry. Okay, so now what you can do is dry this and go in with pencil. Good morning, anybody I missed? Okay, so now get my pencils. Sharpen. And now I can get in here and get a little bit more detail and shading with pencil. Because I always add extra, I always add pencil. I don't say always, but almost always. So now I can get in here and get some of those real dark areas. So even though she's got blonde hair, there's going to be shadows and highlights. Then we'll do her face with watercolor, but essentially it's the same thing as what I just did. It's just that with watercolor, you're working on a watercolor palette. You're working on a watercolor palette instead of over on a piece of plastic with the markers. Okay. All right, so you can kind of get the idea. So there we go. Well, let me do one more thing. One more thing with let's get a magenta here. That might not even be dark enough. I was going to do a little bit more shading on the flower, and it's not quite dark. I'm going to have to go in with a little bit of purple. Let's see this color here. Let's go in with dark purple and get in there and do some shading. And again, you could go back over it with a lighter, like the magenta I was just pulled, so we can get some shading in there and blend with these two colors. Okay. So again, all the shading and those details you can get in here with your pencils. So you have a watercolor wash, and then you can get in here with the details with your pencils. Can y'all see how that's coming along? Hi, little sister Cheryl. And then I'm just doing little sections. You need to do the whole thing, but I want y'all to see the techniques. Okay, so we got some pencil in here. And we're going to blend that out a little. And then you can pick out some highlights with the Posca. You can do some of it with white pencil. Like, let me get a white pencil here. Sharpening. So you can get in here and do, some white, some blending and highlights with some pencil. But if you want a nice, bright highlight, then you can use your Posca on certain petals, like maybe, some of these in here, these tiny ones. Add a little bit of a highlight, let it dry, and then you can go back over it, go back over these highlights with the color. But you got to make sure that's dry. So I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. And then go back over it with the magenta, and it'll still be light and bright, but it won't be bright white. All right, so there we go on the watercolor. Same thing with the hair. We can get in here and make sure that she has some really nice, bright highlights on top of the marker. Okay, so that our hair has a nice pop. And then the other trick I always try to show y'all with the Posca to have some like loose hairs. And you want to do this after you get everything else done, but you can add like some little loose stray hairs might have come loose. Just do a few. You don't need many because then it looks contrived. But if you just add a few little loose hairs, see? Little loose hairs give a little touch, a little extra touch. All right, let me see chat. Anything going on? All right, so let's go ahead and I think I'll give her a green eye too. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just use where's my brush? Oh, it's right here somewhere. Give her a little green eye. And again, her pupil, her eyelashes, they'll need to be gone over with a black marker. Okay, am I zoomed in enough? Let's see here. I think I am, but let's see. How's that? Is that better? All right, so I'm going to dry this. And now I'll go in here and you'll see with the black pen. I don't want to do her lashes yet because I still have to do the watercolor on her face. But you can see a little bit maybe darker shadow right there. And then a highlight. Something like that. All right, so now I'm going to just pick some colors. This is one of this is the complexion, the Prima complexion set. I also have the Jane Davenport sets, which that's what this one is. You can see they're well loved, well used. And so I'm just going to go ahead and not right over it, but I'm going to go over to the side here and spray these. Get them all wet. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and use the same water brush. You can use a regular brush in water, but try to make it as kind of quick as possible. All right, so I think now I'm going to go ahead and put out some of, let me clean a spot here. Put out some of this peach color. Maybe just a tiny bit of the pink in there so it's not so orange. Maybe even a little bit of that yellow. Okay, so now I got a nice bit here, but I don't want it that dark, so I'm going to water that down and just have it real watered down, like real, because I want it just to start with just a nice light coat of watercolor, right? Okay, so I'm just going to do her whole body and face with a nice just base coat. Be careful now because that's water-based marker, and if I touch that, I'm going to smear it, right? I'm going to smear it right into her face, so I'm going to be careful. All right, so I'm going to add a little coat of this color. Again, don't peel your paper. Okay, so there's a nice little base. Now let's dry that. We still with the tour, guys? Thanks, Coca-Cola. And I do want to write on the back of this. This is out of the Coleridge Wild 1 that I'm using Watercolor and Super Tip Crayola both water-based medium, okay? And they all have pencil. That just goes without saying. All right, so now I think I will go ahead, and that should be kind of dry. I'm going to add, just get a little bit of sienna in there, just a tiny bit. Water it down because it goes a long way. So I just want to do a little bit of shadow here. Her eyebrow. Under ear. Inner, oop, too much. Inside her ear. You're not going to overdo. And then maybe just a little bit of pink on her cheek. Maybe just a teeny bit on her lip. Just something like that's very subtle. All right. Let me go ahead and do these other leaves here because it's bugging me that those have not been colored in. Even slightly. Okay, and then the back of her hair here. I missed the spot right there. Maybe even add a little bit more on the back. Okay, so then the next thing I would do is clean off this palette so I don't make a big mess. Go in here with some pencil. Use another colors. Looking. A little bit of peach color maybe. Make sure it's dry. And then do a little bit more blending. A little bit more eye here. And then start doing some pencil shading. Touch of sienna. A little bit of shading behind the ear and in the ear. Okay, now that I've kind of got that done, I can go back in with my, I was trying not to mention those leaves. Oh, now I'm going to go in here with the eyelashes and do that now that I'm finished with the skin right around her eye and put her eyelashes in. Maybe just a couple on the bottom. And I usually like to make their eyebrows just a little bit more pronounced than they usually are. Something like that. And then just a little bit of a shadow. Let me sharpen. A shadow in her eye with blue. Like that. Okay, so, and again, these are really quick, guys. I just want to show you the different mediums that you can use with your color book pages. All right, so this one is watercolor. This was watercolor and water-based markers. I see on the web a great cleaning stained white palettes with oil. Okay, Abigail. So Abigail's saying clean palettes with oil. Is that mean any kind? You mean watercolor palettes or any kind? Because I found that when you use acrylic paint, do you think it would work on this one? You think it would clean this one, Abigail? Would it clean this palette? You think that'll clean it? Okay. All right. So that one is watercolor products, watercolor markers and watercolors themselves. All right. So now we've done, and we're always adding pencil. So pencil is a given. Okay. So there's I said we're going to do 7, but this one has 2 on it. This has got the watercolor marker and the watercolors. So I'm not going to do, we'll do 6 because that's got 2 things on it. Well, actually it's got 3 because it's got pencils. They all have pencil. Okay. So now let me move this over. Get a sip of juice. Oh my gosh, you guys. NASA couldn't figure out how to clean that one. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now we got some more. I pulled some more. And again, let me show you the books. Coleridge Wild. This is the first one. There's 14 different designs, 2 of each. So there's 28 in each one. I flipped through them earlier, so go back and look at it. Coleridge Wild 2 and Coleridge Wild 3. And so that's where I've pulled them from. And I wrote on the back which book I got each one out of. So this pan pastel one that we did earlier, that was out of Coleridge Wild 3. This one is out of Coleridge Wild 1. Okay. And let's see what we're going to do next. Next, Well, we could do some gouache because I have it out. I got some pastel on here. Where's my eraser? Where's my eraser? And now I need to pick up. Let me go ahead and pick up the markers so I have room to do the next thing. Okay, let's pick up some of these. Oh, or we could do. Y'all want to do alcohol markers? We haven't done Copics and alcohol markers. Should we do that next? Hang on. Oops, drop the lid. Where is this one? Get that back on there. Okay, let's pick up the marker, the water-based markers. So I have room for the next thing. All right, let's put these away. Green, yellow, gray, green, pink. All right. All right. So, well, what do y'all want to do next? Gouache or alcohol markers? Let me look. Let's see where we're going. Let's move this over here. I'm still looking for an eraser here. I'll just go with this one now. Well, it doesn't matter. I want to do both. So it doesn't really matter which one I do first. Oh, let's go with the alcohol marker since they're sitting right here. Oh, someone's saying, well, there's one with okay, well, I got the markers. We'll just go with markers this right now. Okay, let's do this one. This one is out of Coleridge Wild 1. And again, we'll zoom in a little. I hope y'all are enjoying seeing different ways you can use your color books. Okay, we'll do the alcohol markers and then Tori will do the gouache next. Okay, let me make a little check mark. So we've done watercolor, pan pastel, water markers, and we're already using pencils on all of them. So now we're going to use alcohol markers. So what's left is gouache and acrylic paint. Okay, so let's go ahead and pencil is a given with all of them. All right, so let's see. Do I want some blue hydrangeas? Again, here's a piece of paper right here. You want to check your colors to make sure that what you're, that the colors that you're using are what's going to turn it, what it's going to be. So I think that's a pretty color for these. I think these are hydrangeas. They're going to be blue anyway. And we're going to do her eyes blue. So I'm going to go ahead and put some blue in her eyes. And these are Copics. There's there's the chow, and this has got a different, I lost a lid on one of these. So that's why there's two different colors. They're not ever two colors like that. They're never that. I shouldn't have probably pulled that one, but I lost a lid. So I was using another lid. But anyway, these are the sketch. These are the chow. These are the regular old ones, the square ones, the original ones. So those are the three sizes. Now, what I would recommend, because you can get them in sets. Like you can get a skin set, you can get like a blue set, you can get different sets. And there's Hobby Lobby and Michael's both are real chintzy on the coupons anymore. Well, Hobby Lobby I don't think has them anymore, but Michael's might still have some occasionally. But you can get, I would recommend getting the skin set, which I think there's 5 or 6. I think these are what comes in the light skin set. This one might come in the dark set. I'm not sure. But you can get different, there's like I think there's 2 different skin sets. There's the dark skin set and the light skin set. So you can get that as to test to see. Here's another dark one. So you can get that to see if you like Copics before you invest in a lot of them. And if you're going to use them in skin, you really want to just get a set of these to practice with. They're the exact same tips. this is I don't need this purple one. Let me put this purple one away because it's going to irritate me that I'm using the one with the double-sided. Okay. So they both have, and this is, of course, I got the one that's broken. I need to replace that tip. Okay, so here we go. So they're the same brush tips on both of them. One is just the sketch one is a little bigger and fatter and probably holds a little more ink. Although I refill both of them, I'll refill either one. So, okay, you're pain about the coupon thing. I know, right? What about the other marker? How did you lose the Copic? I don't know. I don't know how I did, Faithfulness. And then one of the colors just broke, or one of the tips, was like jacked up. So I just took the lid off of it. I took the lid off of it and used it. So, all right. So I think I'm going to go with the lightest, this, I think it's E00. Let's see if this one's got a little bit in there. Or I really want E000, the lightest. Oops. Probably like that, Faithfulness. Okay, I think this one needs to be filled. So do I want to take the time to do it right now? Not really, but I could refill it, but I don't want to take the time. I've never had much luck with the blenders. Like this is the Hoo Hoo Hero blend. Well, no, that's the blend. That's one of the colors. But I don't have much luck with the blenders. Although, let's see, I know I have one here. It's another E0. Hang on, guys. I didn't know what colors I wanted to use. So this is an E000. That's the lightest Copic, other than the blender, which I was trying to find just so I could show it to you, but I'm not finding it. No, it's up here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. 0. And I just don't have a lot of luck with the blender. I think they say, and I'm not a Copic aficionado or a Copic. What do you got? What are you talking when you get a certified? I'm not Copic certified or anything like that. But from my understanding, the 0 blender is really kind of like an eraser more than a blender. So anyway, I'm going to go with the E000 and this blue, which is, what color is this one? B23. So I'm going to go with the B23 blue. And I'm just going to start. One of the tricks with alcohol markers is to blend with a wet edge. So while that's wet, I'm going to take the next color and blend. Okay. That's the trick with using alcohol markers, is the wet edge. This may be too cream color. I'm not really liking that. Let's see if I can get a lighter blue. I don't know if I have it in a Copic. I have a lighter blue in the Hoo Hoo Heroes and the lighter blue in one of the others. So let's see here. This one is the Hoo Hoo Pastel. And they have brush markers now too, but let's see. See, that's a little, not sure I'm going to like that blue together. It's a little, this is more of a little more teal than I wanted, but we're going to roll with it. So the Ohuhu now has brush markers. They didn't used to. You used to only be able to buy, and I know I got some sitting here. I got to just find that's a Master's Touch. I've got them all mixed in together because they're all alcohol markers. There's a Milo. I think Milo is the Milo has the, or Milo, whichever, also has the brush tip now. But my point of saying all this is when you go to buy an off-brand, if you go to buy an off-brand alcohol marker, whether it's a Hoo-Hoo, Milo, Master's Touch, any of these, make sure that you get the brush tip, because the other ones, which I'm trying to find one here and I'm not having much luck. Here we go. Yeah. They used to come just like this with a bullet nib. Okay, so the Hoo Hero, the off brands, they used to just have this bullet nib. And then I guess they got wise to everybody liking the Copic brush. So now they make the brush ones. Okay. But make sure when you buy them that you check to make sure they're brush tip. Okay. Like the Copics. The Copics have the brush tip. Okay. So now I'm going to go back with a little bit. I'm going to use these two blues. So while it's wet, on the wet edge, then I'm going to go in here with the lighter color. And you can, some people start with the light first and then go move up to the dark, but you're really blending both together back and forth, and you just keep layering, and layering and blending. But it's like the trick to me to using alcohol markers is keeping wherever you're trying to blend, the edge is wet. The edge is wet. Thanks, Tina. Tina put in the all right, so that's the water brush. I mean, that's the water based. So Ohuhu has the water based and the alcohol based. You got to make sure you're getting the same thing. If you want to use your Ohuhus in conjunction with Master's Touch and Milo, and if you want to use them in conjunction with each other, they're all alcohol based. The one Tina just posted up there was a water based one. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That the water based ones is how you can use, like I just showed you, to scribble them on a thing and pick them up with the watercolor brush. Okay. So you just got to be aware. And I'm just trying to get in the groove here, guys. I haven't used these in a while, so I'm just trying to kind of get in the groove of them. You want to make sure that you got the same. So I'm just going to do a section at a time here to keep the edge wet. And different papers are going to act differently. Like I said at the beginning, this is a 100, I think about 110 weight cardstock that these are on. But it just depends on what you're using. The other thing about alcohol markers, let's see how much they're going through here. See, they go through. So you don't want to use these in a double-sided color book, a color book that has, something on the back. And if you use a single-sided like I'm using here, you want to make sure you put something behind it so it doesn't bleed to the next page, right? Yeah. And you can use both in your coloring books. That being said, you can't use alcohol markers on a double-sided page because they do go through. All right. So, yeah, but they're all good. Thanks, Tina, for posting that. I just didn't want anybody to be confused. These are alcohol markers. And I don't even really need to write it because you can clearly tell that it's going through, so you know what it is. I'm just using two colors here. Alcohol-based Copic people will use tons of colors and lots of shading, lots of blending, and you can do that too. But right now, I'm just trying to kind of show you some of the different things to do on a color book page with all the different kinds of options that you have for your color books, right? And as I dry, I can go back and even get it a little bit darker. So right now, I'm just kind of trying to get them kind of based in here. That one has a little fold over the edge there. So let's see what else. After this one, we'll do gouache. We have about an hour. We'll do the gouache, and then we'll do some acrylic paint. Now, one of the things, and you can do other pencil techniques, obviously, because I am, on top of other things like the gouache and the watercolor, but the acrylic paints, and I always just use craft paint, matte craft paint. Gives it a little bit of a tooth that your pencil really matches up with well. Oh, thanks, Tina. Yeah, these two colors, again, this is the Ohuhu. This is one of their new, was from their pastel set. And then this is just a Copic. Because I don't have this. I think I either gave it to Cameron because he needed a light blue, the Copic one, or it ran out. I'm looking. I don't see my light blue in the Copics. I don't have full sets of Copics. I have just different half sets and individuals that I've bought and stuff like that. Some that were given. I just don't. I don't have the ones that are like 200, I don't know, 150 in a set in those boxes. And it gets hard. Sometimes they're hard to find because they come from Japan. Originally they come from Japan. So they're sometimes a little hard to get in the sets, or sometimes they're back ordered. Sometimes it takes a while if you order like from Blick or something. You said, okay, we'll get it to you in about 2 months or something. Let's see. You got a load of Pro markers. Yeah, I've used them a few times way back when, but I mean, I'm talking about so far back that I don't have them anymore. I've had some of the Blick ones, and then I think me and Ann and I did a trade, and I sent her my Blick markers, and she sent me something else. Maybe it was some Ohuhus or something, but we did a trade. So I don't have any of the Blick markers, the Blick alcohol markers. And so, yeah, let's do this one down here. I'm going to go back for another pass over all of them. So as they, you can just keep adding and they'll just keep blending as long as the edge is wet. So let me show you over here. See where they meet in the middle there? It has to be wet for them to blend. All right, so let's see what's being said. I still got a load. Okay. Cat paste. I use enough of the Prismacolor pencils as a base. Not even alcohol markers go through. The only thing about doing alcohol markers over, depending on the pencil, over your wax-based pencils, it can dry out your tips pretty quick. And you can depending on what kind of pencil, what kind of whatever you're going over. I'll never use my alcohol markers over acrylic paint. It's kind of like using a Sharpie marker over acrylic paint. It'll dry out in probably about 10 strokes. And then So I don't know what pencils you're using, Kat. Does paper ever oversaturate with alcohol markers? Well, you could call this oversaturating. It goes right through. It depends on the paper. If you mean bleed, it's going to depend on the paper. This is cardstock here. Both of these are cardstock. If I try to do this like on a piece of copy paper, it's going to feather. It's going to feather more. Not as bad as you probably think. Does Posca have the same effect? Poscas are just alcohol. I mean, sorry. Poscas are acrylic paint. Let me see if I can get a blue. They're acrylic paint. So it's not like they don't blend, it's paint. I don't know if you can see the difference here. See, Poscas are paint in a pen. It's not alcohol. It's acrylic paint, like plastic, just like, it's like this in a pen. Okay. So they're completely different thing. I love my Poscas too, just for different things, right? Nothing blends to me like alcohol markers other than pencil. You can get pencils to blend really well, but it's going to take you longer, right? I'm not sure Cat and Pace what kind of base pencil she's using that her her alcohol markers is she's using over the top. I would be worried about ruining the markers more than anything. So, yeah. So let's see. I'm trying to answer whatever questions y'all have, you know. All right, so let's go ahead and put some light blue in her eyes. Even a little bit of highlight there. And again, for the pupils, I'm going to go in here with the black pen, a Sharpie pen. Same thing for the eyelashes and the eyeliner. I'm going to add a nice dark, but again, you want to do that at the end, because now I could probably move that with the alcohol marker. So yeah, I didn't see Cat Paste answer. Okay, so let's maybe do an auburn hair color. Let's see. I keep getting that one that's broken. I need to replace the tip, I mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and give her auburn hair. So I'm going to start with getting some kind of little bit of a start here. Do I need to move in? And it did get a little flashed out again. Let's light changes and zoom in a little. There we go. I find the alcohol marker works more as a solvent. Yeah, breaking down. And I understand what you're saying, but aren't you worried about ruining your Copics? I don't know. They're so expensive. I don't like to put them on top of anything, you know. All right, so I don't want to get too much into her face yet and I probably should do the face first, but I don't want to put her eyebrows in yet. I was tempted to do her eyebrows just then. And I really should let this go with the next color because I want to keep a wet edge. Okay, so let's get in here with like a peachy color. Oh, maybe even a little bit light. Let's go with this yellow color here. Okay, so let's go with these two. So I'm using the E97 for the auburn, and then this one, the lighter, is the Y21. And regardless of which Copic style you're using, the colors are the same. So the E97 deep orange, which is like a sienna color, it's going to have the same number and name on any other one that you use. They're all going to have the same name and number. They're all consistent like that. Okay, so okay, and I'm going to go back and just darken it up a little more. Blend a little more. Add a little more. Blend a little more. Just back and forth, as you can see. Can they be blended using alcohol? Well, that's why they have that blender one, the blender marker, which to me just erases it. Like the alcohol, it's like the blender is like just alcohol in the blender. It just kind of erases it. It's not really, it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really blend, it more lifts. But, I'm sure there's Copic kings and queens that do you know, all their art with Copics and stuff, that they could probably tell you all kinds of tricks to do with other things. I don't have, you know, I haven't had the practice with a lot of other things. Bye, Sylvie. Thanks for coming in. I don't use them enough. I don't use them as often, you know, to really become as proficient in them. I mean, I get by. I mean, I'm getting by with it, you know, doing this, but it's not like some of the people I'm sure you've seen that use Copics and alcohol markers that, oh my gosh, they can just do amazing things. I don't see any of her hair back there, so I think this is pretty much all her hair that's showing. But you just keep building it up. And I mean, it can get darker and darker and darker. I mean, you can get lots of shading, lot of shade. You can throw a lot of shade with Copex. um, okay, so Kat and Pay says she likes mineral spirits. I have some leftover mineral spirits from alcohol, from oil painting. I have some around here. You can buy it in a jar. You might, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of a marker that sells it in a marker. I have it in a jar from, I mean, mineral spirits have been around forever. But I don't want to sound impatient that way, but it's a lot of trouble. I mean, Cat Pace, but you know, go look at her Instagram. She's got some beautiful work on there. Maybe she's used mineral spirits on all those pages. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love color pencils. I love color pencils, but I'm trying to show y'all all different things, right? Trying to show you different things. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do, I want to get a real light skin here. Let me go ahead and just start with the light. Well, it's not the lightest. It's yeah, it is. It's E00. Three zeros. E000. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a light coat. Now remember, it can be streaky. You got to keep the edge wet. Keep the edge wet. If I start going over here, now it's real light, so you can't really tell. Oh, let me show you here. Let me do it on here with another color. So let's say I want to do skin, and let's just say this. You want to color all this. Okay, you got to keep that edge wet and keep it. See how it's all blending? As long as you keep the edge wet. But if you start going over here and then here and then here, see, it's going to start having streaks. So you got to keep that edge wet. See, as long as you keep it like that, you're going to have a nice, smooth transition. Tina just put in some odorless mineral spirits there. Yeah. That's what you can use it in oil painting and Gamasol. Yeah, it's another I'm not sure it's exactly the same, but a lot of people do use that as well, Devin. I got rid of all my oil painting stuff. I've done a few oil paintings. I did a bunch of oil painting classes so I could paint a few paintings that I had commissions for, but it's too much trouble. It's too much work. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying oil painting is a lot of work. If you're just going to use some mineral spirits to do something like this, to me, my thing would be, well, why don't you just blend? I mean, no offense, Cat and Paste. Because Cat and Paste got some beautiful pages. Go look on her Instagram. I showed her Instagram earlier. See, I need to refill. This one's already starting to, I should refill it. Do I have another one sitting here? I don't think I have another E00 sitting here. But I want to get a base. I don't know who keeps texting me. Hang on. And Lady Jan sent me a video last night. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. Okay, the sister-in-laws are all texting each other. Let me just turn that down. Take a sip of juice. Let me just go ahead and go back on Instagram and show you Cat and Paste. Her work is beautiful. Maybe she says in all of her video what she's using in each thing, because she's got a variety. Let me pick out a couple here that are really cool. Look, go over to Cat and Paste here and go look at her beautiful coloring. I mean, it's stunning work. Well, even the squirrel's cute. Even the squirrel's cute. Look at all shoving all those nuts in his jowls. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at this one. I've shown this one before. Look at this. Look. See? She does beautiful, beautiful work, guys. So maybe she's using alcohol over there. Yeah. I'm not sure. So look. Yeah, it's not Tina texting. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this marker's almost, I don't use them enough. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the E93 and do a little more peachy color into her. I'm going to go back and forth between the E93 and the E000, which needs to be refilled. I might need to do that because it's not wanting to go down. Oh, let me go ahead and take a minute, guys, to put some in here. Hang on. So I'm going to refill this real quick. I'll read chat while I'm refilling this. All you do is just drop some drops on the tips. It's best to do both sides. You know, the chisel to sit side and the brush side. You know, just put it, 10 drops or so. Let it soak in. Let me take a minute and read chat. I know. So maybe she says on those pieces exactly what she used. She does fab. I'm telling you guys, she's an expert. Our cat and paste. Beautiful, beautiful work. Hang on, guys. I'm still refilling. There's lots. Go follow her, guys. Go follow her. And there's my sister-in-law again. Hang on. I think that should do it. You probably really want to wait a minute before you start. You don't want to get it too. All right, where's the lids here? That one goes. Okay, just a little bit more. All right. Can you show us how? Oh, you just dropping some drops on it. Well, I don't want to do it over this. just dropping a few drops on it. Let it soak in. And I did both sides. I did the chisel side too. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tina. There's Cat and Paste on Instagram. Yeah, that is true as well. All alcohol markers are not created equal. That's why I was saying earlier, Faithful Mess, nothing beats a Copic. I'm just going to be honest. Nothing beats a Copic. But one Copic can cost you $8, and that's about how much a refill is, $8-9. Whereas your Ohuhu, but you don't get to pick. I mean, you don't get to buy them individually. You can't buy the Ohuhus. Did I make a mess on there? I'm not sure. You can't buy them individually. You only can buy them in sets. Like here, let me show you. Here's the pastel set. This is the pastel set of Ohuhus with the blue that I took out. This one. That's the pastel. Then you can also buy, here's the skin tone set. And, and I also have the skin tone set in Master's Touch. I have the skin set in the Master's Touch. I have the skin set in I'm not sure if I have a set of them. In the Milo or the Milo. I have the Milo ones. But they're good. It just depends on how. Copics are the Cadillac of markers. Exactly, Tina. It just depends on how, if you want to, again, I would recommend you can buy, there's a couple different sets that you can buy. There's a darker skin, and I don't know which ones come in which because I've got them all mixed up. But you can buy like five darker skin tones and 5 lighter skin tones in little sets. Okay. So, yeah. All right, let's get back to her. Oh, now I forget which one. Is this the one I refilled? Okay. So now let's go back in here. Now that's refilled and add some. I want to make sure though that I also blend, but right now I just want a nice. I'll give her one of those. And I don't understand. It's like a fad or a style. I see a lot of young people that draw. Maybe one of y'all know the reason why, or is it just a fad that they do those dark noses like that? Is it a manga thing? Is it a maybe it's a manga thing or an anime thing? Very light. It's a little on the sun's starting to come through the window. How long does one Copic mark? Oh, it's going to depend on how long how much you use it. The skin tones go fastest because you use them the most, or I do. I use the skin tones the most, so those go the fastest. So we're going to get a little bit more blend right there. More of a shadow on this side. And I don't use my markers near as much. I've used them more in the past, but we do so many different things. It's just not like one thing. Okay, let's see. What did Rachel say? I think it's an allergic thing. I'm not sure what Rachel's. Are you asking me something, Rachel? Or are you just being funny? And good morning, by the way. I think that's the first time I've seen you, Rachel. So good morning. And then Michelle, the Black Magic color book pages finally arrived. The Black Magic. How long ago did I send that? The Black Magic color book pages? Like 3 months? Michelle? When did I send that? That was a long time ago. I think I need a little bit. I don't want to get too dark here. Let's be careful here. A little bit of dark. Just a little darker and then blend that out. Okay, a little bit on the nose there. Did anybody answer me on the nose thing? And I think I've asked it before. I've asked before what it is about the little dark noses like that. They're just colored just colored like in a little circle on the tip of their nose. Maybe it's just a manga thing. Leave me something in the comment, or you could email me. Thanks, Tina. It's been 3. I know. Oh my gosh. No telling. No telling. I don't even remember where you live, Michelle. Don't put it in the chat, but I don't remember where you live that it might even take so long. Trust me, I barely remember where Janet lives, let alone everybody else. So let's go ahead and add her a little bit more. Let's give her a little bit more eyebrow. Okay, I'm going to have to move on pretty soon now to the, what do you call it, acrylic paint, if we want to get to that. Okay. So there we go. Could use just a little bit more pink on the lips. Just a little bit of pink on the lips, maybe. Hi, Dot. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Devin. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, guys, and I'll leave her there for a second. And then we'll come back and do some alcohol, some gouache. And we may not get time to do the acrylic paint, but I do this all the time. I always use acrylic paint, so maybe we'll do a combo, a little bit of an acrylic paint in a corner or something on one of the pieces. But I wanted to use my gouache. So, all right, I'll be right back, guys. Give me just a minute. Okay. Malibu yelled at me. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions or nothing? Yes, cue the Jeopardy. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to stop right here just so you can kind of see where we did a little bit. Oh, well, hey, Malibu. Let's back up so you can say hi to everybody. There she is. Okay. So that is the cope. And again, the Posca is an acrylic. And I love using the white. I don't really color anything solid with Poscas. I use it for detail more than anything. I use Posca for detail, especially the white one. So I just don't color big areas. You know, she's gone over there to the side. All right, let's get away from the light. Come on, get on down, away from the cords. All right, so let's go ahead and back in again. Okay. Oop, I got a little too close, I think. Let's go ahead and autofocus again. Autofocuses. Come on. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. So now I'm going to just slide these alcohol markers and let me put this Posca back up here. And I'll put those away here in a minute so I have time to do a little bit of something with gouache. All right. So there we go. So we did this girl with the alcohol markers. We did this one with watercolor and water-based super tip Crayolas. This one with pan pastel, and we started with the color pencil. I'm just trying to just give you the idea. Again, none of these are finished, so I just want y'all to kind of see the difference. All right, let me take my phone out of here because it looks like my family's going to be talking to my sister-in-law. Gabbing away over there. Okay, so let's see. Next. All right, so for the last one, let's go ahead and do, well, I kind of want to do gouache and acrylic separately. Let's see, I have another one here. So these are, I got these two. I don't know what book this one's from. I've been writing on the back of the books what they are. I have some more sitting here somewhere. All right, let's pick another one. So this one is out of number 1. This is number 3. So let's just see here. Maybe I'll do another sunflower one. So we'll do 2 sunflower ones. We'll do one in acrylic and we'll do one in gouache. So you can kind of see the difference between those two. All right. So let's see how far we can get in 30 minutes. I'm going to save this piece of plastic because I never can find a piece of plastic when I need it. Okay. All right. So, Vonnie, I was alcohol markers, Vonnie, Copics and Ohuhus, I think were mostly. All right. So now, and again, everything that I do, I usually, add some kind of pencil to it as well. All right, so let's get the gouache out. Let me get you the lid to show you what it looks like. So this is my set of gouache here. The Mia, Hemi gouache. I think it's Mia and Hemi. I think it's the same. Or Mia is the brand, Hemi's the kind. Now, it does not come with the Apple stickers. This is when I buy iTunes cards. I just stick them on something and just happen to stick them on this. It can come off. They have a foamy top here, but when you first squeeze these out, when you first get these, they're very soupy. I mean, just like if you were squeezing watercolor out of a tube. They're very soupy and very wet. So my suggestion, and Janet and I have done this on both of them, is let them sit out overnight and let them dry out some. They're not going to, it looks like a couple of them are a little bit cracked, but they're re-wettable, right? These are not the acrylic gouache. Acrylic gouache is a little different. I'm not so sure how re-wettable they are, but these are just the regular gouache. But you want to let them dry overnight because otherwise you're going to get it all over the lid. Okay. Because they're so full. I mean, they're so full, and this weighs this weighs as much as a gallon of milk. I mean, it's seriously heavy. So then, if you want to, when you go to use them, you can just wet the ones you want. Just wet the colors you want, or if you're going to use a lot of different colors, you can spray them all down. But again, if you use them a lot in this setting, this time period, let them sit out for a few hours to dry out some. Okay. But you can wet them, let it sit here for a second. They're going to reactivate just like watercolors are. The thing about gouache is they're like more opaque. They're not perfectly opaque. They're not as opaque as acrylic. But they're more opaque than watercolors. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the reason that they're more opaque is they have white added to them to make them. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But they're more opaque than watercolor, but they're not as opaque as acrylic paints. Okay? All right. So, yes, I'm working on several today. Yes. She found the books. Okay, there's the books. Okay, thanks, Pacola. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do one with gouache, which it depends on what y'all want to see. If you want me to be real close, this is about as good as I can get with the colors being close to you. And then we'll do one. Let's do this one with the gouache and this one with the acrylic. And then I'll do this one with acrylic paint. And again, watered down acrylic. I water this down. I put it on a tray. I don't usually use my big giant palette that I showed you a minute ago because it doesn't fit in camera. These fit in camera. But then I'll use these and I water them down. And the thing about using the acrylic is once it's dry, of course, color pencil, especially my Prismacolor, go over these and you can get all kinds of effects, stars, glow, water, mist. You can do so many things with pencil on top of this. You can do it with other things too, like watercolor and gouache and everything else, but there's just a little bit more texture. This just gives you a little more tooth. Okay, let's see. I don't even see the big set you have on Amazon. I bought this. It's a couple. Oh gosh, Janet, I don't remember. When did we get these? Like a year and a half, two. Oh no, it was before the virus. So I've probably had this a couple years. I probably had a couple years, and they come when you buy them. Each one of these is individual. Each one of these is an individual little pack. I don't know if I can get them out right now. There we go. They come like this, and they have like a pudding. Sorry, like a pudding pop or whatever they're called, where you peel it off and it's pudding. That's how they come. They come like that with like a peel off thing, and it's just like pudding on the inside when you get it. It comes off on the paper. It's real soupy. It's like a pudding. That's how soupy these are when you buy them. Okay. Not that that's egg tempera, Jane. I'm not sure. I can pretty much guarantee you these inexpensive, budget friendly gouaches probably don't have egg in it. I don't know, Jane. I don't know about that. But they're soupy, but they're like the consistency of a pudding. You know, when you peel off the pudding cups, that's the consistency of these when you buy them. And it's all over the lid. The when you peel it off, it's like a, foil lid, plastic foily kind of lid. It's all over. It's a mess. It's a hot mess. I'm just saying, these are a hot mess when you buy them. And if you leave them set out overnight, they'll dry out enough. Greek yogurt. Tina. They'll dry out enough for you to put the lid back on. Because if you just put this lid back on right after you do it, this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what's going to happen. If you slap that lid on when they're all soupy, just saying. All right, so I'm going to kind of try to leave it there and try to kind of, there we go. And I'm just going to use my water brush, I think. It's ideally, if you're wanting to mix colors, you want to have a palette. Let me get another one here. Let's see. I'll get one of these that Juanita sent me. I've got, these came, I think there was 5 in the set, so this is a fresh one. So we'll go ahead and use this. So I have something to mix the colors on. So there we go. That looks pretty good right there, right? Okay. Okay, so they could be that, but when you first buy them, they're a hot mess because they're all wet and soupy and stuck to the lids. And okay, so let's see here what I want to do. I think I'll start out with I'm going to go ahead and wet these yellows down over here. So I'm going to start with some of these yellows. So I'm going to pick some up here and put it over here, and that way you're if you put it on a palette, you're more, this little charm is scraped, a little key on that charm. If you go directly to it, you might get too much. You really want to use a palette, and that goes with your watercolors, your gouache. You want to have it on something, not just go directly like from here to here, because it's going to be, thick. So, and then if you want more, the thing about gouache is it's easy to cover up your line art, which can be good if you want it to have a more painterly effect than a color book effect, because it's easier to cover up the line art. So in other words, every layer I'm graying out the line art so that you can turn it more into a painting rather than a color book page. But it's going to take some layers and yeah. Again, I'm just going to maybe do half of there's a little spider there. I don't know if y'all can see, there's a little spider in there, under there. Oh, there's one there too. So I'm going to try to do a little bit here to make it look as painterly as I can. Right now, I'm just getting a base coat on, right? So let's get a little bit more water, maybe a little bit more water there. And you don't have to use a water brush. You can just use a regular brush. It's just easier and handier on stream, quicker to use a water brush rather than trying to clean my brush in my my paint bucket, my paint water bucket, because Janet will be fussing at me because it's not clean enough for her. uh, let's see, Kathy, YouTube. Who else am I missing? Let's see. Spiders. Hi, Deb, Artsology Deb. I said hi to Rachel. Janet just went from the new palette. Okay, well, I'm going to keep working here because I don't have a lot of time. So I want to get, as much as I can. Okay, so now I've got a base here of my what do you call it? Flowers. Let me get I want to get a Kleenex is the best way to me to clean off your because then you can squeeze some water out and clean your brush. Now when you want to clean them well when you're done at the end of the day of whatever you're using. But okay, so now we got that. And now let's see, let's go ahead and I'm going to wet down some of, you can't see back here, but I'm wetting down some of the more flesh colors back here. And I'm going to put some of these out here. I just want to get a base coat on her face. I'm trying to stay in frame. Let's see, Carly, I'm sure I'm missing people. All right, so let's just get a nice base. And she has little freckles. So I'm just going to do her, I'm not getting it in her eyes, but I'm going around her eyes here. And the more you water it down, the more translucent it is. So if you have a lot of water in this, it's more like a watercolor reacts or acts than it does. It's kind of like gouache. It's kind of like a cross between watercolor and acrylic paint. It's kind of like that. I did get a new bucket, Debbie, but it's probably still not. Okay, look, let me show you the new bucket. I need to add fresh water, but the brand new bucket looks like. So that's how dirty it is right there. But it's got dirty water in it because I was just haven't cleaned the water out. So just saying, don't email me, Janet. No, I don't think it's quite as toothy as, I don't know. I'm trying to kind of feel of it, but this paper is toothy. The paper I'm using itself is a little toothy. So it may depend on the brand too. Devin, it may depend on the brand of gouache because there's also acrylic gouache, which I have some. I have some Arteza acrylic gouache. Yeah, that's what it is, Curly T. It's opaque watercolor, which is kind of a cross between watercolor and acrylic. Yeah. So it is. It's opaque watercolor, but it can also be, look, it's not so opaque that you can't see through it. See, you can still see the line. You can still see the line art, right? Whereas, and this is what the one I'm going to do with acrylic wash. I could completely cover up that line art with one coat of acrylic paint, not watered down, right? But you have to water this down to get it to activate. So you have to water it down some. Whereas acrylic paint, you don't have to water it down at all to be totally opaque. This is totally opaque. Okay. This is not totally opaque. You have to layer it up to get it totally opaque because you have to add water. You can't just go in here on the dry paint and make it work, right? Let's see. All right. And plus I'm using pencil on everything. All right. So now let me go ahead and go in here. Is this kind of the color? this kind of an orangey. I can't remember. Oh, you can't see it there. Kind of an orangey colors, the sunflowers. All right, so here's where you can see a little better on the opaqueness of it. See how it's covered up the black line art compared to that? And you can get a real painterly look with this. So for instance, in the sunflowers, let's go ahead and add maybe a little bit more of an orangey yellow, maybe even a little bit of this, that color I just used. This right here, okay, this kind of, I don't know what color you'd call that, yellow ochre. But now I can go in here, and every place that you can see shading from the line art, I can pretty much cover that up with paint. So you can make it like a painting. You know, and again, you may or may not like gouache in your color books. You know, you may or may not like that look. Gouache is really good for like painting things. But when you're using it in a color book, you are covering up the line art. Okay, you are covering up the line art. You're getting rid of the dark black lines, which, you know, that's an effect in and of itself. Okay. All right. And again, you want to clean. All right, so you kind of see that. Hi, Amy. I hope you're feeling better. Just sitting at home recovering. Thanks for all the prayers and good wishes. Well, I'm glad you're getting better. But it is art and can be whatever. You can, yeah, exactly, Curly T. You can do whatever you want. It's your work. Oh, look what I did. I just smeared that on there. I have to put some splatters now because I kind of got it. See if I can kind of wet it and get some of it lifted up. All right. Now, if I want to, all those little seeds that you see here that are kind of covered up, so I can go back in there. Let's get a dark brown or a sienna color. I should look up I'm kind of forgetting the colors of the inside of a sunflower seed. I think there might be black over that. But anyway, so I can go in here and just kind of. I didn't look up a sunflower. Maybe I should have. But if you let the layers dry in between, you can layer them up. You can't really over wet it because you'll move the under color. But if you let it dry really well, you can put a coat over the top and it's okay. It's not 100% foolproof that you can do this on top because the undercolor can move if you get it real wet again, right? So let's just start with that, and then maybe some darker, maybe some, do I want black? It's purple. Well, we'll mix the purple and that what do you call it? Yellow ochre to make a little. Let's go up here where it's dry. And I can add some more. And I'm just using this water brush. If I really wanted to get a nice point to little dots for the seeds, I could use a different brush. But I'm just kind of trying to show you some different. Let me dry that, though. So. Kind of see that. See, I can make it more like a painting. And you can do this with acrylic too. You can do this with acrylic. Hi, Mary. Not really yet. In 10 more minutes, I would be into overtime, Mary. All right, let me clean my brush again and squeeze out some water. Let me get a fresh Kleenex. So when I want to clean my brush in between, that's when I'm squeezing out the water. Otherwise, I'm not really squeezing out water. And this one's almost empty anyway. I'm going to have to get some more water in it. All right, so let's do a little bit on her face, and then I'll do a little bit on acrylic. So just so you can kind of see, I want a little bit more in the petals here, just a little bit more. Pick up a little bit of that purple. I can get in here and just do a little bit of shadow or a little bit more of the petals. And again, I'm just using the same brush. If I really wanted to get some detail in here, I need to get a smaller brush and paint in some better details. But I think you'll get the idea. Not much. All right, something like that. Gee, there's so many varieties of sunflowers. Each one yeah, I guess you're right. There are. All right. And then I could also go in here with some Posca after this is dry and add a few more little, some lighter details, either with white or another color. Well, I'll wait on the acrylic. We'll do that on the acrylic one. All right. So let's see. Now let's go back in. Let me turn my palette here to a little clean area so I can get in here with just a little bit more like that key. There we go. A little bit more flesh color, maybe a little bit of pink. To do a little bit more shading around her. I need a little bit of water, just a little bit, because I want her face to be a little softer, right? Around the eyes, that little button nose, lips. Just get a base, get a little start of shadow here. A freckle face. She has a freckle face. So you can see, you just got to build it up. Yeah, it's good to see you, Amy Wolfie. All right, and then I don't know what color hair. Maybe we'll just go with that. We'll go with that sunflower with just a little bit darker. Maybe that would be good because that's, just give her kind of the kind of golden hair that would blend in with the sunflower. And a little bit on her brows here. So y'all have any questions or anything? How we doing? And I'll get a base of this, and then I'll go in with some brown for the shadows here. I don't know if I'm gonna have much time to do acrylic, but if you look at any of my Colorbook pages that I've done, they almost all have some acrylic paint on them. All right, so let's get a little of that purple and mix that with a little bit of the, there we go. But I hope y'all got a lot of different ideas of how you can use your color book pages using different mediums. Oops, got a little too. And then again, I would go in here with color pencil. Go in here with color pencil and add more. Hello, Heather. Who else? Oh, thanks. All right, let's see. And maybe she has golden. Maybe she's. Let me go. I'll water that down just a little bit to do her eyes. Maybe she has golden brown eyes. And then freckles. Maybe a little bit more shadow around her eyes here. Okay. Maybe just a little bit more pink in her lips. Just a little on her cheek. Gotta water that down. Okay, I gotta quickly fill up my brush marker. I mean water brush. Here we go. A little too much. Still a little too much. That went refill that, and it's a little too much water. Okay, so now I'm going to dry this, and then I'll add a little bit of the black in the pupils, which makes a difference. I'm just enjoying it. Oh, thanks so much, Carly. All right, so now what I'll do, let me zoom in so you can see the eyes really good. Okay, now it does pixelate. It gets a little fuzzy this close, but I wanted you to see the eyes when I add the details in the eyes. Oh, let me do one eye at a time, then you'll really be able to tell. Okay. All right, and then a little bit of the blue. Again, I do add pencil to everything. And then a little bit more of a yellow, like, oh, let's, okay. All right, so there we go. Now you can see the difference with one. And it needs a little bit more shadow on that one. Let's get a brown. Is that brown? That's purple. Hang on, let me get a brown. Pencil. Sienna color. Okay. So there's with some pencil and what do you call it? Detail. Some more detail and eyelashes. So now I'll do the other one. With a golden color. A little bit of a shadow. Just a little twist there. And then all right, let me back up now. How's our lighting? All right. Yes, Tina, thank you. All right, so this one I'm going to write on the back gouache. Oh, which book did I get? Oh, I got this out of number 3. I'm pretty sure. Okay. So again, I'll back way out and I'll show you the ones we've done. Okay. Let's move this out of the way. Here's our gouache palette. So I was going to do an acrylic one as well, but we just ran out of time. So this one is with gouache and pencil. And again, I haven't even done any extra details in the hair and other things. But all right, so that one's gouache. This one is alcohol markers. This one is watercolor and watered down super tip, Crayola water-based super tip, and some pencil. And this one is pan pastel, and just the start of the pencil. So it took a while to do the pan pastel. And I had to go down and spray it and everything. So pan pastel, watercolors and watercolor markers, alcohol markers, and gouache. And I need to do more work with the gouache, but we gotta start. So yes, thank you, Kat. And again, if you don't follow Kat and Paste, amazing coloring, go follow her. Just saying. All right, so yeah, that was my list of things I wanted to do. And again, if you missed it, in the first 30 minutes or so, I did show. I will go ahead and take a second to read 1,001 Ways to Be Creative, just one page out of this. But I did give you a Society of Idea Collector weekly idea earlier toward the beginning of the show. Now, let me just take a second and I'll go ahead and read the next page here. I won't even get out my Torah pointer today because we're at over 12 o'clock here. So I'll just read these. So we're up at 630. This is 1,001 Ways to Be Creative, a little book of everyday inspiration. Barbara Ann Kipfer. Oh, thank you, Mary. Mary, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the channel. Very sweet of you. All right, let me go ahead and read these. 630. And remember, when you're writing down ideas, make sure that you write down things that occur to you. So if something totally different occurs to you, write down your idea that springs from these ideas. Okay. Keep personal details to yourself. Instead, cultivate a mysterious personality, leaving much to the imagination, which is kind of hard to do online or if you're a streamer. What can you do with a roll of white paper, crayons, and imagination? Titles that people have chosen for songs, paintings, and books are rich in poetic possibility. Draw the country house you hope you will one day live. Design jewelry. Paint a room in your favorite color. What tools would you like to have for your creative work? Save up for something you can really use. Apprentice with somebody. Write a letter to your descendants. So those are this week's 1001 Ways to Be Creative. We're getting through. We're over halfway through the book. Over the last, I don't know, couple of years, we've played with that book. So yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Getting some ideas: gouache, alcohol markers, watercolor and water-based markers, and pan pastel. So, and none of them are finished. I might work on finishing them, over the week or weekend, depending on how much stuff I got to do. But in the meantime, I really appreciate everybody being here. Thanks everyone that supports the channel, either here or in PayPal tip jar, showing up, comments, thumbs up, likes, unlikes. I appreciate it all. Thank you so much, guys. All right, y'all stay safe and have a blessed week. Bye-bye, guys.